I'm MIB, and this is Microman. It's not a toy of Microman, mind you. This is the actual Microman. Let's back up. Microman is a toy line created by Takara, and it was active from 1974 to 1984, and then again from 1998 to 2007. This line consists of 3¼ action figures with some decent articulation relative to their size. And real quick aside, if you're looking at this and saying, that's not a Microman, that's a Micronaut, then I should tell you that 1, Microman was licensed and distributed in the US by Mego under the name Micronauts from 1976 to 1980. And 2, you are old. Microman has an incredibly interesting place in toy history, and I'm not going to dive into it all today. Suffice to say that there's a really fascinating timeline of events showing how Microman comes from G.I. Joe and then led to the Transformers as we know them today. As a matter of fact, Megatron and some other notable Transformers originated from a Microman toy line called Microchange. It's why he turns into a handheld gun instead of a giant vehicle like Optimus Prime. Again, it's very interesting. In the narrative world of Microman, the characters are called Micros, and they hail from a planet called Micro-Earth. While on our planet, the Micros disguise themselves as our action figures. So again, this isn't a toy of a Micro, this is the Micro, scaled 1:1, living, breathing, and alive, undercover, pretending to be a toy, like a twisted version of Toy Story. As a matter of fact, oftentimes Micros will disguise themselves as other toys, like Batman, the Predator. Why, one of your toys might be a Micro, and you may not even know it. Micros. Micros. Micros all around me! Takara also held the license for Godzilla merchandise, so it's of little surprise that in 2004, they released sets where the Micros can disguise themselves as Godzilla toys. This was also the year of Godzilla's 50th anniversary, so it was a good opportunity to cover several different Goji suits. So if you've ever been poking around eBay and you've seen sets like these, that's what they are. But are they any good? Well, only one way to find out. First, we're going to look at this set here, and it looks like 4 action figures, but it's really only 2. You get the 2 Micros, and a costume for each of them to hide in, Megalon and Jet Jaguar. The Megalon and Jet costumes will not work as figures on their own, without the Micros inside of them. Packaging is nice, and on the back here, we can see that there are 3 other Godzilla sets, which I will show you in just a moment. Again, these small figures are packed with articulation, 30 points to be exact, and they even come with swappable hands. Real quick, we also have a Micro who comes with an original 1954 Gojira, and I do like that they include the posters on the back of the cards, by the way. Here's another double set with 2 Micros, and this time they're hiding inside a 1964 Godzilla and King Ghidorah. These look pretty decent. I like that instead of looking like Godzilla, this looks like the costume of Godzilla. Although it does feel less like the Micros are disguising themselves as toys and more like they're just putting on the movie costumes. By the way, there's a Final Wars Godzilla, and we're going to circle back to him toward the end of this video. And last, I should also mention that Gamera got the Microman treatment as well. I'm not going to explore these guys on today's video, but rather I just wanted to show you that there's a Showa Gamera, Heisei Gamera, and a Todo from Gamera the Brave. So let's dig in, because I want to play with some aliens disguised as Godzilla toys. Alright, so we got some stands for the Micros. Here are the alternate hands, which is interesting because these sets don't come with anything for the Micros to hold. And what's this here? Ugh, I hate stickers. Little catalog here of these Kigoro Microman sets. And of course the instructions. Now remember, the goal here is to put the Micro figure inside the Godzilla-related costumes. The Micros themselves are neat, plenty of articulation as promised, and I'm a sucker for chrome and translucent toys. I only stuck the chest stickers on these guys because I despise putting tiny stickers on things. But yeah, on their own, the Micros are very easy to pose, they're decent action figures. Psh, 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 I kick your face! But let's turn this guy into Jet Jaguar. Man, it's so weird seeing Jet's head and abdomen detached like this, right? So first I have to pop off the Micro's head, his arms, his feet, put on Jet's crotch like a pair of shorts. And I would absolutely wear a pair of shorts that look like this, by the way. Got the top on, and the important thing is you really want to make sure that the ball joints are accessible. You stick on his 80s leg warmers here. Nothing here is just slipping on. This takes some force. You see, I can't put his feet back on because his leg warmers aren't high enough. You really have to press this down to make it work. Got his arms on. Then we stick his hands back in. And then last, the Jet Jaguar head pops on top, and there, a Jet Jaguar action figure. Well, sorta. The downside is, unlike the Microman underneath him, Jet barely has any articulation at all. Moreover, to make this figure work, we had to remove Microman's feet, hands, and head. So how does that work in the narrative of these toys exactly? Microman wants to disguise himself as a toy, so he pops his own head off? What the hell does a head do while he's riding in Jet? It makes no sense. I could swap the head so it looks like this guy's wearing a bodysuit. I don't know. Let's do Megalon. Same as Jet, we pop off some parts, bottom goes on, followed by the top here. Wow, this one's actually a little harder. You really gotta twist and squeeze. Bloody hell. Megalon's arms are also a bit more challenging because of the shoulders here. The ball joint is a bit harder to reach. As a matter of fact, I had a bit of a hard time with this one. But eventually, Megalon was ready. The wings popped right on, and bam! Megalon figure. And now I have all these spare parts. But enough of these two. Megalon, Jet Jaguar, one and done characters. Let's get to the big G. Godzilla's assembly is very different. Microman's head can stay on this time, so that's nice. But he goes into Godzilla in a bit of an awkward crouching position. Let's see. Again, I do love the rubber suit. It would almost be more fun to put a toy of Haruo Nakajima in here. Headbanging Goji. Dun, 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 dun. I like the color scheme of the Micro that came in this set. That's pretty cool. We gotta stick him into this little purse opening in Godzilla's back. And it's quite a challenge to get the whole Micro in there, let alone position him right. You want to make sure his ball joints come out of the four limbs. Wow. Oh, wow. This is a pain. Ah, man, his arm popped off. See, I got the whole Micro in there, but without the ball joints, his head and feet just don't stick. This is the hardest one yet. Look inside there. My Micro is falling apart inside Godzilla. So after turning off the camera and struggling for quite a while, I got the Micro positioned right. As you can see, the payoff is a few little tears here by the dorsal plates. I wasn't being overly forceful or rough, but I did have to stretch the rubber to position the Micro correctly. And the last thing we need to do is put the dorsal plates on. And then we're done. Godzilla can now join the others. It's too bad there's no Gigan. Honestly, I would rather just buy a toy that looks like this from the get-go. After all that hassle, I'm confident that I'm never going to remove the Microman from this Godzilla again. The worst part is I gotta do it all over, because here's another Godzilla. And I'm nervous to think about how complicated King Ghidorah is gonna be. We have his wings and some kind of wiring here. Then the usual Microman stickers and such. Again, I'm only sticking them on their chests. These guys are okay. Alright, break it up, you two. So again, the Micros get to keep their heads. Even better, looks like he gets to stand up straight, and I don't have to feed his arms through anything. Instead, we gotta put this antenna-looking contraption on his back first. Then you stick him into King Ghidorah's bottom half. We should end here because how can this toy look any cooler? Last, we want to feed the antennae through the three necks, and that should probably close. Again, I'm using a lot of force here. You need to make sure that these little nubs clear the opening of the necks. With some more pushing and twisting, eventually the body was complete. Onto the tail, and oh my god! I gotta squeeze this huge nub here into this freaking pinhole. I spent a long time on this and got nowhere. With all my might and force, I could not get the tail to attach. Around here, it occurred to me to soften the skin with a hairdryer. This might have helped for the other toys too. This was incredibly helpful for the tail and wings, although they still weren't easy. I actually had to pop the top half of King Ghidorah's body off again. just so I can get a good grip to apply the force needed to put the wings on. Thankfully, the 3 Ghidorah heads are very simple. Again, great looking Showa King Ghidorah, and I like how he scales next to the Godzilla too. And again, I'd rather just have this as a toy without all the Microman stuff. Okay, no sense in avoiding it. We gotta do this other Godzilla, and my butt cheeks are already clenching with aggravation. Did the hairdryer help with Godzilla? Yes, in that the small opening in his back can be stretched easier. But even with the wider opening, positioning Microman without his parts popping off is still an incredible challenge. It took a lot of time off camera, but Godzilla is complete. That's the real downside if you wanted to actually play with these Microman toys. The transformations would totally break up your momentum. You'd be playing, then you'd have to stop for maybe 10 minutes or more, 5 if you have a hairdryer, and by the time you're done, you're kinda not in the mood to play anymore. But here's the lineup. Do they look neat? Yeah, they're pretty cool. Will I ever transform them again? No! Heavens no! As a matter of fact, I'm a little nervous to handle them now out of the fear that someone's limb will pop off beneath the suit. Now this will vary from collector to collector, but personally, I think these toys are better for display than for play. And that's why I chose to hang up the 3 Gameras along with the Final Wars Godzilla on my wall over here. And by the way, because these are Japanese imports and because we can't have nice things, you'll often see these toys on eBay dramatically overpriced. I'm talking $100, $200, I've seen $300 for one pack. It was actually cheaper for me to just import my toys directly from Japan. I got this Final Wars Godzilla Microman for 20 bucks at G-Fest. My advice, as of the making of this video, is to avoid paying over $50 for one of these as much as possible. They are just not worth the high price tag. If you've ever gone window shopping for vintage Godzilla merch, you might have seen this in your travels. Magic rocks. Rocks grow underwater in minutes. This was in American stores in 1995, and it was put out by Craft House. And it gives you a chance to make a pretty cool Godzilla display while also learning science! There's a little bit of artistry involved here too, as they give you an uncolored Godzilla that you can paint with provided paint colors, along with the magic rocks and the container to grow them all in. If you've stumbled upon this today, you might have the same question I had. Does it still work? Today on Playtime, we're gonna find out. But first, can we just acknowledge this really gummy-looking Godzilla right here with his 2 rows of teeth? He looks like he got hit with the Joker's laughing gas. So step 1 is painting. And by the way, how American is it that they want the base color to be dark green? Now this is absolutely true. My box has never been opened before, and look at the paintbrush. Do paintbrush bristles evaporate over decades? I'll have to go find my own brush now. Or maybe not. Yeah, the paint hasn't aged very well here, as you can see. And to be honest, it would be pretty unreasonable to think that the paint has kept for decades. This paint has straight up turned into pure rubber. But whatever, we're not here to paint, we're here to grow crystals. So we're gonna skip to step 2, the aquarium assembly. You start by putting this tinfoil-like floor in the container. Next, you place Godzilla inside along with the magic rocks that kind of look like oversized fruity pebbles. The instructions encourage you to spread the rocks around. And by the way, I think I forgot to say this before, but the Godzilla sculpture here is pretty okay. It's more detailed than it needed to be. I can see why the box had a do not consume warning. These kind of look delicious. Now, in order for the magic rocks to grow, you have to apply the magic solution, which straight up looks like a cocaine brick. It's hard like a brick, too. This also did not age very well. Next, I will pour the magic solution into this hipstery mason jar. Then we're gonna pour the magic solution into 2 cups of water. Feels like I'm baking cookies now. I wish I was baking cookies now. Give that a good stir, and to me, the solution did dissolve pretty well. Now we just pour this milky substance into the bowl with the fruity pebbles. God, I'm hungry! Want to make sure I get all of it in there. Oh, gross! Now, just as a friendly reminder, the box says right here that the rocks will grow in minutes. Well, I got minutes to spare. Let's see what happens. First, I just want to make sure I did this right. Discoloration here, and this will grow. Let this rock group grow for at least 6 hours? What? I guess when the box says it grows in minutes, they meant 360 minutes. And sure enough, we are a half a day later, and this has not changed. Let's pour it out anyway. Maybe there's a crystal hiding somewhere in here. And we are in luck, if by magic rocks we mean clumps of gross multicolored bleh. If you've ever seen this and thought about buying it, just know there's a good chance it won't actually work anymore. But gosh darn it, I promised you crystals in this video, so we're gonna make some crystals. So I went and got this National Geographic crystal growing lab. It's new. It also comes with a snazzy display base. Take that, Godzilla crystal magic rock thing. Wow, the instructions to this one are a full-blown textbook. I don't want to learn how to make crystals, I just want to make crystals! Now for this science experiment, I'm going to use this old Trendmaster Space Godzilla toy I have that's in pretty bad shape already. But if there's one kaiju that should grow some crystals around him, it's probably Space Godzilla. Problem is, he does not quite fit in the container that the National Geographic box provided. To solve for this, we will use the container that came with the other set. I've cleaned it out and fed the lumps to my dog. Instead of rock, this one has different colored powders. We'll grow blue crystals around our Space Godzilla here. Now this one has us boiling water, so already we're getting a little more high-tech than the last kit. And hot dog, our boiling water is ready. We're gonna pour it right on top of the grains here, fogging up the sides. Hopefully Space Godzilla doesn't melt. And look at that, the water is turning a deep Easter egg blue. The instructions want you to stir this for a good couple of minutes, so I'm gonna follow it to the T because I really want to grow some crystals. And last, we must apply the Orb of Narinatha, which summons the power of the 5 moons to create matter where there was not matter before. Now, unlike the first kit, this kit wants you to wait a full 7 days to check on the crystals. Now, while I'm trying to grow blue crystals on Space Godzilla, I've also got a cup with purple crystals. That'll be our control group in this little experiment. Well, it's been 7 days, and look at this beautiful purple crystal formation from my control group. This was using the cup that was provided with the kit. This looks picture perfect! I gotta say, this is really cool. But how did Space Godzilla turn out? What the hell happened? Apparently, crystals grew on Space Godzilla, but not within the water like they were supposed to. Maybe it's because the foil base was more of a repellent for this mixture. I don't know. Can you even call these crystals? It looks like I put Space Godzilla in the freezer for a couple of hours. And here's the end product, Space Godzilla with a little tutu of frost. He looks like he's auditioning to be a ballerina in Frozen 3. The crystals are pretty secure onto the figure too. I mean, sure, some of it flakes off, but some of it's on here really hard. Look at this, it looks like I just made a purchase from Walter White. So here's the Space Godzilla toy now with most of the crystals off of him, and he's in pretty okay shape, although there is some paint damage, probably from the boiling water. But I did get this beautiful crystal display out of the deal, and I am going to hold on to this. So in conclusion, if you want to grow some crystals, go get the Nat Geo box, and I guess this video just went way on a tangent, huh? If you're a North American Godzilla collector, then you probably know that the 1990s figures by Trendmasters have been increasing in demand. As time goes on, an appreciation has been growing for these toys by younger and older collectors alike. But if you're going on eBay and emptying your wallet on these figures, then you, my friend, are a sucker. Why buy the figures when you can make brand new figures from the comfort of your own home? Presenting the Godzilla King of the Monsters Figure Maker. Yeah, this kit came out around 1995, and it advertises that you can make your own figures of Godzilla, Rodan, and Mecha King Ghidorah. This kit was made by Rose Art, who makes arts and crafts products for children still to this day. But you've probably noticed the figures on the box look exactly like the figures made by Trendmasters. Are you saying I can make brand new Trendmasters figures by myself in the year 2021? Now, I'm not saying, oh, these are similar designs to Trendmasters. No, this box is showing you Trendmasters molds. It's clear as day. Let's check out the back of this. I need answers. I was a kid in the 1990s. This is not what kids looked like. And I'm not saying there weren't white-haired kids and ginger girls. I'm saying these hairstyles, outfits, this was not 1995, all right? This was a kid from 1995. But sure enough, these kids are making their own Godzilla figures like it's nothing. Even the box is like, this is easy as 1, 2, 3, come on. I got my box new and sealed, so we're opening it up for the very first time ever. Look at this. This is a piece of cardboard that you're supposed to use as an art mat. Maybe a picture of Godzilla would have been nice, some art of the monsters. Hell, I'd settle for this overused Godzilla on the box. I do like that I have a nice clean scan of this logo now, though. So you get a mat. Got a Ziploc bag here. Ah, the 3 molds. See, already I see an issue. These molds are smaller than the 4-inch Trendmasters toys. In fact, our figures are going to turn out closer to 2.5 inches. Yeah, see, this guy doesn't fit. Here's the Godzilla mold. Here's Mecha King Ghidorah, or just Mecha Ghidorah, as these American toys would often call him in the 90s. This is a very flat figure, and he's not in the same position as the Trendmasters toy. And here's the Book of Rodan. Scalpel. We have our paints, and in past episodes of this show, whenever I open up one of these little paints, it reveals a little dry rock. But to my shock, some of the paints here are still liquid. Not all of them, but a bunch. We'll get to that later. Here's where we have our air drying modeling compound. Seems well sealed. Maybe this will still be good too. No, this is a brick. This is a really interesting material. It feels very light and fluffy, unlike your traditional air drying clay. Maybe it will still contour to the... No, this clay is done. Inside the box is an order form for more of this material, which they call here Super Stuff Modeling Material. I wonder if this form would still work. The instructions are here too, and it's straightforward. You use your mat, you put the clay in the mold, then it wants you to put the mold in the freezer for 30 minutes. After that, you remove the figure from the mold and paint it, then you list it on eBay to profit. Easy, simple, I'm gonna be rich! By the way, the box and instructions say I should have a paintbrush, but my box did not come with one. What gives? Should I contact them on the order form and ask for a replacement? I like step 4. Using your imagination and the designs on the package as a guide, paint your figure. Yeah, kid, you're on your own. I mean, you could try to look at the box, I guess, and by the way, we're not even giving you half of these colors. Just to get a quick idea what these molds produce, I have some Play-Doh here. We'll just give this a good roll and a stretch. Oh my god, this stuff feels so good. I just want to fidget with the Play-Doh. Screw my money-making scheme. You have to spread the clay on both sides of the mold and make sure you cover everything. Then you close the mold so it looks like a green sandwich. Squish it good, and there you have it. You can use the scraper here to get the excess clay off, and in some areas it's simple, but some tiny areas are really challenging to carve with this dull plastic tool. Give me an X-Acto knife. There you have it. A perfect replica, right? Still a little bit of a seam, but I'm sure I could sell this to some kid at G-Fest for a couple hunch. Take that, Godzilla! Here's Mecha Ghidorah, but it looks like a carved hieroglyphic of Mecha Ghidorah. In fact, this character has the flattest mold of all of them. The heads, the wings, and the tail go straight to the left or right sides. There's very little Z-axis. And that begs the question, what the hell are these figures on the box? These taller 3D-looking figures. I think they downright used Trendmasters action figures for this packaging. You expect me to believe a kid can make a sculpt this perfect and then paint it this perfect? Well, I did believe it, because I'm a sucker. All right, enough Play-Doh. Let's do this with some real clay. And I'm going to prep my clay real good. If we can't make a good Trendmasters figure, maybe we could at least make a good bootleg figure. First, I'm going to put the clay in the Rodan mold. He should be the best looking one, right? Ha ha ha. I recorded this voiceover already knowing what happens. I also have a Godzilla mold filled with clay, and we're going to stick them in the freezer here under a box from the Kansas City Steak Company. We're going to have to transition ahead a half hour now, and you know what that means. Cue the fart music. I spent the whole 30 minutes thinking about 4 specific people I know who are probably cringing at my clay techniques. Oh my god, where's Rodan's face? He looks like a freaking cryptoid. It looks like the clay didn't make it down the mold's beak hole, and now I have this abomination. The Godzilla mold does better. It's about as clean on the edges as the Play-Doh test, and it actually stands. Also, like the Play-Doh, the seam is just there, screaming at you. Look at this scale difference. It's okay that these molds are small, I just didn't expect this small. I feel like they accidentally gave me the molds for dinosaur chicken nuggies. Since some of the paint still works, I'm gonna paint these. This is a sort of dark turquoise that works well for Godzilla. I cannot believe this paint is actually working after roughly 25 years. Look at that, I painted a rock. Unfortunately, none of the brown seems to work, so I'll have to paint Rodan with one of the 4 purples. The silver paint was no good, so I'm making Godzilla's dorsal plates gold, and I feel like it's working on some level. We'll also use this gold to create an accent on Rodan's underbelly. Nailed it! Can you tell which is the real toy and which is the phony? Which is which? And which is which? Which is which is? Which is which is which? One of these is a Trendmaster's Rodan, and the other is a bat that's also a huge Prince fan. I'm gonna mass produce these and sell them on Etsy. Just like the box, you guys. Flawless action figures, just like the box. Going back to Play-Doh, and whichever material you use, the Godzilla mold will give you the best results. The trim is very easy, unlike with the other 2 molds that have very tight and small spaces you need to cut. If you really made an effort, especially with the seam and the right tools, and you're good at this, and you're a good painter, I could see a good Godzilla coming out of this mold. But for an average kid, not so much. I like these as Play-Doh molds, where a kid can just play without the pressure of making a perfect result. Plus, Play-Doh feels awesome. But most important, no matter what material you use or how good an artist you are, you're not ending up with these figures on the box. So if you've been window shopping eBay or a thrift shop and you've seen this and wondered if the figures come out like this, no.
Ah, the bathroom, where you do all the stuff you don't want anyone else to see. If these walls could talk, they'd scream like banshees. This is the most personal space. No one is allowed in here with me. Except Godzilla, obviously. Can you have a full Godzilla bathroom? A bathroom where Godzilla is with you every step of the way? Let's find out, but first, I want to be clear. We are sticking to licensed Godzilla merchandise only, because I'm sure you can go on Etsy and buy unofficial Godzilla tampons or whatever. Starting in the bathtub, where we'll indulge our playful fantasies with Godzilla 1998 bubble bath and shower suds. Man, merch for the 1998 Godzilla movie was so damn extra. There's an entire full-body Godzilla wrapped around this tube like it's the Chrysler Building. Kinda reminds me of this little Godzilla I have wrapped around lip balm. But that's off topic, and I wonder why I'd bring this up. You could take the toy with you in the tub and use it as a water squirter. Most of the toy is hard plastic, but the arms actually have a little bit of articulation, so you can make him do the safety dance. That's an 80s joke, children. When it's time to wash your hair, you want the 1989 Bandai Godzilla Club shampoo. Look, it's an adorable chibi Godzilla. All you gotta do is pop its head off. Then take the cap off. What does the shampoo look like? How do I explain without being demonetized? You remember when Shinji was in the hospital with Asuka? If I learned one thing from Sesame Street, it's that a rubber ducky can make bath time lots of fun. And that's it. That's the one thing I learned. Godzilla duckies were made available by YMSF a couple of years back, and they came in all sorts of different colors and styles. YMSF also made a Hedorah duck, so you can add a muddy alien parasite to your cleaning process. And when you're ready to dry off, head on over to the Godzilla store, where you can find any number of towels in various sizes, with all sorts of different prints on them. Hey, did you know that you can now use Bai.jp to order from the Godzilla store? Get yourself a towel! What about dental hygiene? Even Godzilla knows he needs to brush his teeth, what with all that Dr. Pepper he's been drinking. So it's time for a 1998 Godzilla toothbrush. On the back, it says, "The Real Godzilla Bendable." Real Godzilla? Are we sure about that? Here's the Godzilla, and could be much worse. Not gonna lie, he looks a little like he got impaled. Actually, this Godzilla looks a little off to me. Maybe it's the snout. It's not very bendable. Yeah, you can push things like the arms, but you can't repose it or anything. They just snap right back. I find it a bit off that Godzilla's got both a train and a toothbrush in his mouth, giving it a bit of a T shape. But T stands for toothbrush, so I'll allow it. You can remove the toothbrush by giving it a quarter twist at a pull, leaving Godzilla with this weird mouth like you just took out his ball gag. This is a kid's toothbrush, so it's very basic, just bristles. It's not like my adult toothbrush with bristles of 2 different colors or varying heights and rubber purple things on the side to increase aerodynamic fluidity, cohabit inhibitor, financial portfolio. Yeah, it certainly works, although my teeth are still looking a bit yellow. Huh. You can also get this neat little Yutaka Godzilla toothbrush holder with a suction cup to stick on the wall. I don't have any Godzilla mouthwash to share, just a fun fact. Back in April 2016, the Godzilla at the Shinjuku Toho building was given a large cup of Isodine mouthwash to promote healthy gargling habits. Time to wash our hands. And for that, we need a bar of soap, 1998 Godzilla soap. This is a gentle glycerin bath bar, and it looks like somebody gently vomited and then packaged it up. Look at this bar and then tell me you'd rub it on your privates. I don't know if the bar looks like this because it's old, or because it came from New Jersey. But good news, there's a toy in here, a finger puppet if you could believe it, but you'd have to wash yourself 1,000 times to get to it. And I don't even want to rub this on my skin twice. I mean, yeah, eventually it feels like normal soap, but we have a YouTube video to make. How is this considered a finger puppet? Did they mean like you can just wrap it around your finger? I call false advertising. You know what else? Not only is this not a puppet, this is the same figure that was wrapped around the lip balm I showed you earlier. It's the same thing. They just took the figure part and shoved it in some soap. I was wondering why I brought that lip balm up earlier. When you need something to hold your soap, look no further than this 1993 Japanese soap dish Godzilla by Yutaka. It's a smirking Godzilla reaching out with his big ol' hands, and you know what they say about Godzillas with big hands. They hold big soap. The back has suction cups, so you can mount this on a wall if you like. Nope, I don't like. The tray is cool. I like that Godzilla's jet black. And guess what, Ultraman fans? Yutaka made a soap dish of him as well. He looks like he's begging for a bigger portion of gruel like Oliver Twist. That's the one thing I know about Oliver Twist, no more, no less. Of course, you can opt for liquid soap, in which case you'll need this Godzilla soap dispenser, I believe made by Beatland. And look, there's another toothbrush holder. Speaking of Beatland, it's time to shave with a 1987 Beatland Godzilla shaver. He looks like a bulldog. Just pull his dorsal plates down and he spits up a shaver. Click his nose to retract it back in. I've got some new batteries in here, but he doesn't seem to be working. Luckily, I can just shave with the comically sharp spikes on my SH Monster Arts Destoroyah figure, Lord have mercy. But enough about all this freshening up. If you're in a bathroom, it's most likely to use a toilet. I don't have an official Godzilla-themed toilet to show you, but if there was one, I'd hope it would look like this. I do have Godzilla-themed toilet paper. Yeah, you're not a true Godzilla fan unless you're literally wiping your ass with Godzilla collectibles. These are 2018 Godzilla toilet paper rolls by Bandai, and we are through the looking glass now, people. Forget your Godzilla books, I get my stats and facts from this toilet paper. Look at the print on this. Flying Godzilla, Destoroyah, and Space Godzilla. Thank God I didn't buy this used. Now you might think it's weird that I'd own an actual Godzilla toilet paper holder, but to that I say, I actually own 2 Godzilla toilet paper holders. And look, one roll is underhand while the other is overhand, cause I'm a bipartisan pooper. The Black Godzilla is dated as 1988 from Beatland, although the box is labeled as from Yutaka. So maybe they were redistributing an old mold. Why is he licking his lips while he's watching me do my business? Are you ready to wipe your ass? Cause you can bet Godzilla's got something to say about that. Yeah, take a square and Godzilla will scream bloody murder at you, multiple times. It's one of those roars that's overshadowed by the sounds of gears grinding, and it is loud. Everyone in the house will know you're taking a dump and exactly how much TP you're using. The green Godzilla is labeled as 1997 from Yutaka. It's a different mold with more texture. It's a little bit bigger, no tongue. And you bet he's policing your TP usage too. This one's eyes light up like an alarm. roar is better, but still loud, and he still roars more than one time, even if you pull the roll down just a little bit. Sometimes he gets stuck and he just keeps roaring. Can you imagine you're in a bathroom trying to clean a messy experience and Godzilla's just roaring and roaring and roaring, and your date's waiting in the living room? Dude, shut the fuck up! He roars a lot, but if you're not wiping until you see red, you're not clean enough. So can you have a full Godzilla bathroom with licensed merch? Yeah, you kinda can, or at least get pretty damn close. And if you go unlicensed, it's even easier. Crappier, but easier. Anyway, hit that like button and join me next week for Can You Make an Entirely Officially Licensed Godzilla-Themed Strip Club? The answer will surprise you. Because it's no. HG Toys was a company out of Long Beach, New York that offered a variety of products in the late 1970s throughout the 1980s. Stuff like a toy gas pump and a play shave set. Nah, HG actually had a lot of really impressive licenses like He-Man, Voltron, Alien, too many to list here. In their time, they also manufactured a lot of jigsaw puzzles, Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Chips, Mighty Mouse, Heckle and Jekyll. And of more interest to this channel's audience, Shogun Warriors, King Kong. And in 1978, they offered 4 Godzilla puzzles. 3 were 150-piece standard puzzles, and 1 was a 100-piece jumbo puzzle. But MIB, you ask me? Why make a video about puzzles? Because look at this original art, man. I love this art. This is the smaller, more dinosaur-esque version of Godzilla that I just wish there was more of in the world. Maybe it reminds you of the Marvel Godzilla that was out at the same time. It might remind you of the storyboard art for the unmade 1983 Steve Miner movie, Godzilla King of the Monsters in 3D, and William Stout's concept work. It might even remind you of the unused Stan Winston Godzilla design we almost saw hit the big screen in the 1990s. Everything I can find attributes this puzzle art to Earl Norem, who had a long career of these near photorealistic pictures. He's contributed to Marvel, He-Man, even Dinosaurs Attack. But getting back to our puzzles, the 3 150-piece Godzilla puzzles measure 10 by 14 inches and they each have names. There's Harbor Havoc, Air Attack, and City Rampage. This is funny because in the HG Toys catalog and marketing materials, they make a point that Godzilla is a good guy. He's the good monster. He started as a villain and now he's today's favorite hero. Is he? Is he though? It's not my intention to make you sit here and watch me do 3 jigsaw puzzles, but maybe we'll do just one. The nice thing about a finished puzzle is you can enjoy the art without the big title breaking it up like on the box. In fact, this big title on the box kinda made the puzzle a pain in the ass because I had no idea what the middle of the picture was supposed to look like. There was a special promotion in Canada where you could mail away this form and order a box with all 3 puzzles in it. The box is generic and I've seen it in various colors. I have this blue one. You'll see that each puzzle is in a little bag with a little picture attached to tell you which puzzle it is, but even better, this box came with rolled up mini posters of the puzzle art. No titling, no puzzle breaks, just this beautiful art by itself on a beautiful poster. This makes my heart so happy. So that's the 3 150-piece puzzles, but what about the jumbo puzzle? This one seems much rarer and it took me much longer to get in my hands. This puzzle is only 100 pieces and finishes at 14.5 by 36 inches. Unlike the other puzzles, this one doesn't seem to have a cool name, and it's the only one depicting Godzilla fighting something. And you might think I'm gonna make you watch me do this puzzle while playing that fart music again, and you're right. They were not kidding about jumbo size. This puzzle's taking up the entire table. But man, it is so good to see this art without a giant blue thing in the middle. It's not easy to get a full grasp on what Godzilla is fighting here. There are 4 long segmented necks that look mechanical with snake-like heads and sort of cat whiskers. The mouths can shoot some type of beam, although the beam doesn't seem to be hurting Godzilla much. The heads seem to be able to burrow in and out of the ground and through walls. We can't get a sense on if all 4 necks are attached to one body, or if Godzilla is actually fighting a swarm of mecha snakes. The mystery thickens a little bit when you check out the Sphinx blog, where the author covers this puzzle and shares a photo of original sample art, sort of a mock-up of the box before it went to print. The author received this pic from a collector named Greg, and I'll share the link to the blog entry below. And if you go back to this sales sheet, you can see the same mock-up art along with some mock-ups of the other boxes. You'll see that originally, this art was also intended to be sold as a poster you could color in. All of this is very awesome, but unfortunately, it's not shedding much more light on what Godzilla is fighting here. In addition to puzzles, HG Toys made a lot of playsets, and they made a Godzilla playset released in 1979. Godzilla battles the Tricephalon monster. And you'll notice on the box art, the jumbo puzzle art is being reused, with one head being purposely cropped out, leaving only 3, to imply that the mecha snake creature is the Tricephalon monster. Try 3. A head has got to go. Sorry, Murray. In the playset, the Tricephalon toy does indeed have 3 long segmented necks and some nubs on it, and they connect to this body that to me makes it look sort of like an aquatic creature, what with a giant fin and flipper feet. And it's colored green, so we can't tell if this was meant to be implied as robotic or metallic based on the figure. So I guess, if anything, this monster or monsters was retconned into the Tricephalon monster the following year, even if it didn't start that way. That was quite a wild tangent from the puzzles, but these things are the things that keep me up at night. In 1979, HG Toys from Long Beach, New York released Godzilla vs. the Tricephalon monster, a 55-piece playset that pits Godzilla against a completely original 3-headed foe. It came in a really big box, and if you watched my last playtime video on the jigsaw puzzles released by HG Toys, you'll know that this box art is recycled from a jumbo-sized puzzle that featured 4 heads. I think this art was repurposed and retconned to be the Tricephalon monster. But let's check out the playset. It starts with this vinyl sheet that measures 30 inches by 30 inches. You'll see it has some brown land and a large river running in the center with a dock. There's this city skyline diorama with skyscrapers being blasted, either by the monsters or maybe the military just has terrible aim. This is a cardboard water tower that the previous owner stapled together, and it goes on this stand that's also cardboard. The cardboard is not aging well, so I'm going to be very careful here. There are also these flat cardboard trees. I've got 3 of these triangle-shaped trees here, and then there's one normal-looking tree. These are supposed to hold themselves up by these little tabs on the sides, but they don't stand very easily. And then there's this cardboard diner, Joe's Diner. Smash the city, but protect Joe's Diner at all costs. They make a hell of a Greek omelet. Thankfully, the diner stands much easier, but again, the cardboard pieces from this playset are not its best pieces, especially now, decades later. On that subject, the set comes with this cardboard bridge here. The bridge has 2 sides, and you're supposed to attach them via these little nubs here. As you can see, the bridge is supposed to curve so it can go over the river. But making this cardboard crease and curve the right way, while connecting all the nubs, is a real challenge, and I'm very worried I'll accidentally rip a nub off or something. So I'm not going to be putting the bridge together for this. But enough of this cardboard. Here are the stars of the show, Godzilla and the Tricephalon monster. Obviously they're both green, but 2 different shades. I actually like this Godzilla mold a whole lot. I like the slight hunch he's got going. It even has a really decent texture going on. He's just got this weird hole underneath. It's fine that he's hollow, but what a weird cut this is, going over half of his foot. But otherwise, I actually do like this toy. His opponent is also hollowed out, but the cut isn't so awkward. He's a quadruped with 3 long necks and 1 long tail. He's also got a big fin-like thing on his back and some flipper feet, which makes me imagine it as an aquatic monster. I like that each monster has a very different silhouette, and I like how they scale together. Another centerpiece in this set is this missile-firing destroyer ship, and consequently it's also the most delicate piece. These little poles and such on the top are begging to snap right off. One thing I really like about this ship is that it says HG Toys underneath, and the monsters had that too. So if you ever find just this ship somewhere out there, at least there's a clue for what it goes to. Most of the smaller pieces in this set we'll look at don't have that clue. But yeah, this is a big ship, a worthy opponent for Godzilla after the Tricephalon is defeated. Roar! The set comes with 18 soldiers and 18 civilians. Maybe one of them is Joe from the diner. These people are tiny. Just for comparison, here's a figure from a Sword and Sorcery playset by HG Toys, which is more in line with your average figurine size. We got old Lady Agatha shouting at Godzilla to keep off my lawn. And Officer Krumsky here is about to accidentally shoot her in the kneecap. Here's a little yoga class. Just because there's a monster attack, that's no excuse to skimp on a good stretch. Here's a few children on the run. Hope their parents made it. By the way, these two kids share one stand, but I'm pretty sure they count as separate individual people for that 18 civilians count. The army guys are what you expect. Some repeat poses again, guys running, guys shouting. No army set is complete without the bazooka guy, it's like a law. There are no guys here sharing a stand, and apparently my set came with 2 extra soldiers, making 20 total. Score. Here's a blue police car that comes with the set, and these cars are as cheap as they come, but they do the job. It's a very generic car that just has a police sticker on the back. Here's the exact same thing but red, and of course the sticker now says Fire Chief. At least the ambulance is a totally different shape. Again, these aren't Matchbox cars, they're just 2 simple pieces of plastic put together with some wheels. One perk of making the people so small is they actually scale okay with these vehicles. And we've got some military vehicles. 2 tanks with tops that do swivel, and 2 jeeps. Plus, you get 2 jet fighters. And even though I keep pointing out how cheaply they're made, they still work very well for this playset. They work better than anything in this set made out of cardboard anyway. They look good enough, they roll on their wheels, what else could you ask for? Especially if Godzilla's just gonna trash these things. Roar! See, I can use him like a finger puppet. In case you weren't picking up on this set comes with a lot of pieces. And over the years, as they're resold and popping up on auction sites and thrift shops, it's easy for pieces to go missing, making for incomplete sets. But it's also common for toys from other playsets to make it into this set. For example, I recently saw an eBay auction that included extra ships and a Zeppelin. And my set came with this red Statue of Liberty and an extra boat. I've got another cool surprise in a minute, but first let's put our play scene together.
Keep off my lawn!
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, HG Toys had a number of different playsets, and one line from 1982 was called Sword and Sorcery. This included 3 sets of different sizes, and as you might guess, this set was all about medieval adventures. Knights, horses, wizards. This set came with a castle that thankfully wasn't made out of cardboard. It even had a drawbridge. And it came with catapults. Check this out. Why am I showing you this? Well, some of these sets came with a red dragon. Does it look familiar? Yeah, this is the Tricephalon repurposed as a dragon. And look how it's depicted on this box art. Ironically, it looks more like King Ghidorah here, Godzilla's biggest foe. There was another set that featured a one-headed version of this toy. So I guess this is a unicephalon. So yeah, there are actually 3 variations of the Tricephalon monster out there in the world. So if you're keeping track, it started with this puzzle art with 4 mechanical snakes that was repurposed into a 3-headed quadruped monster that was repurposed into a traditional dragon. The Godzilla Battles the Tricephalon Monster playset has its strengths and weaknesses. The monster molds are cool, the ship is delicate but a nice touch, and the people and vehicles serve their purpose. However, the cardboard parts are a real chink in the armor, especially when you compare this set to the Sword and Sorcery set, which found better solutions. Finding this playset complete at a convention is one of the best scores of my collecting career, even with the water-damaged box. You can only imagine how rare it is to see one of these go for sale complete and at a reasonable price. Sometimes you'll spot an auction for just Godzilla or just the Tricephalon monster, but these prices are pretty outrageous in my opinion. Anyway, I hope you learned something new today. Well, it's been 5 minutes, so it's time for me to remind you again about the juggernaut that was the merchandising for Godzilla in 1998. Back then, if you named it, Godzilla's face was slapped on it. Like this fishing tackle kit. Add this to your Godzilla 80-piece lore kit, and you'll be saying, that's a lot of fish. Here's a little Godzilla school kit I saw in a thrift store. Here's a Godzilla happy birthday decoration by Paper Art. Honey, we're having guests over. Bring out the Godzilla 1998 dinnerware so they never come back. Look at this full-blown Godzilla 1998 Valance window treatment. Yeah, that thing is called a Valance. We all learned something today. You can decorate your whole wall with this action-packed glow-in-the-dark battle scene. I really should have bought this one. Here's a soft Godzilla lunchbox. There were actually several lunchboxes for the 1998 Godzilla, and I have this one. It's your basic plastic lunchbox with some awesome Godzilla art on it. On the inside, it comes with a thermos with pre-made clip art supplied by the licensors. I like this lunchbox, and I usually use it to store my Godzilla knickknacks, which I'll be showing you today. Don't talk to me before I've had my coffee from my Godzilla coffee mug. The sculpt and paint is better than it has any right to be. It's pretty impressive. This comes from Equity Toys, a company whose name will pop up a bunch. Like seriously, this sculpt is too good. I feel like I'm drinking Godzilla's cranial fluids. This looks like they're serving Godzilla brain soup in the Temple of Doom. Candy! Oh, we're doing categories now. Candy. Speaking of head sculpts in weird places, may I introduce the Godzilla Monster Mouth Candy Tongue. You just press the back to open Godzilla's mouth, so he can slowly present his bright, red candy tongue for you to suck on. Suck on Godzilla's tongue. Don't be shy. Look, he's even wearing protection. Everything about this is wrong. I swear I didn't buy this at an adult store. This looks like a dog getting a boner. Kiss me like the French do. Yeah, there is a Jar Jar Binks version of this candy, and its picture has made the rounds on the internet, but if you don't want to make out with Jar Jar, you do have a better option. Look at this guy. This is more Godzilla candy, and you get the whole upper body. Again, good mold. I like the chalky blue coloring on it. There's a button here. Oh, he just kind of flaps his jaw.
Roar, roar, roar.
Some articulation in the arms, that's cool.
Roar, roar, roar. Nom, nom, nom. Roar.
Where the hell's the candy? Oh, there's a hole that a lollipop stick went through, piercing Godzilla's head. No wonder he's all out of sorts. Flicks Godzilla gumballs. You get gumballs and a little dispenser with Godzilla's head on top. And you get a refill. He holds a few gumballs at a time, and you twist the bottom here to dispense them. This is probably the closest thing we've ever officially had to a Godzilla Pez dispenser. Everyone's had a Pez dispenser except Godzilla, even Scrooge McDuck. Oh hey, Godzilla didn't have to slave over gumballs alone. Junior is also here. I actually feel like they did a much better job overall with Junior's head. Rounding out the Flicks Gumball trilogy is a classic Godzilla gumball dispenser. Godzilla looks like he has gray cornrows. Nah, I like his head. You can definitely tell it's Godzilla. This is either a photo summarizing the Godzilla candy I just showed you, or you wandered into the kinkiest underground fetish club on YouTube. Stampers! There are so many Godzilla stamps in the world, like this one that lets you arrange letters so the stamp can say anything you want. Like disappointment, or these self-inking 3D stamps by Noteworthy, with Godzilla dry humping this building like a preteen. Collect them all. There are 4 of these stamps, but look how the back doesn't show you what they look like, just the stamp they make. That's confusing. This isn't the best looking sculpt I've ever seen, but it's still miles ahead of your average stamper in terms of quality and presentation. Weird how Godzilla looks kinda green here, isn't it? Here's another stamp from the set with half a Godzilla, chowing down on a bus or a train car. He's looking greenish again, and his hands are up like when a mime hits an invisible wall. I actually have 3 of these stamps. I did not collect them all. I collected most. And yeah, these things are self-inking. Even after all these years, the ink in here hasn't completely dried up. And now I can look at the card and see which stamps I actually have. Truth be told, I think we can do better than this, so I bought a brand new stamp pad soaked with ink. Yeah, these are coming up better. But gosh, I hate the half circles around them. What about a roller stamper? This is shaped like a green heart, which leads me to believe this was originally used for some other type of stamper, and they repurposed it to add Godzilla. You don't make a single picture with these stamps, you roll it to make a line of pictures. The ink is mostly dry on this one too, so I'll just roll it on the ink pad a little bit. Yeah, there we go. It's like a line of Godzilla hieroglyphics. How about a whole pack of little square stamps? Jesus, what was this licensing meeting with Noteworthy like, where they just pitched the hell out of Godzilla stamps? Collect them all? What do you mean collect them all? I have them all! You gave them all to me! These are little soft stamps that are not self-inking, so they have their own little stamp pad. And look! Stickers! Surprisingly, the stamp pad hasn't dried out too much. The stamps are coming out fine. How much content can I create about stamps? A lot, apparently. A lot. But it's time for...
Erasers.
Hey, this looks familiar! Noteworthy reused the stamp mold as an eraser mold. At least now the back of the card is easier to understand. Look at this! It looks exactly like the stamp, but this is actually a pencil eraser. It's such a detailed eraser that I'm intimidated to actually use it. The Godzilla 1998 eraser is ready to erase giant mistakes, like the screenplay for Godzilla 1998. And quick tangent, this mold is actually the subject of some intense controversy. As I often bring up on this channel, the Godzilla 1998 design was supposed to be a secret in the months leading up to the movie's debut. But this mold leaked on the internet earlier than the film's release, and Dean Devlin, the movie's screenwriter, commented that this mold was one of many fake designs sent out to licensees to help them keep track of leaks. But as you can see from the fact that I'm holding this in my hand, Dean Devlin was absolutely full of garbage, just like his screenplay. Whatever else, check out this killer keychain. I don't even have to take it out to play with it. Here's a Godzilla head from Equity Toys with biting jaw action. It's not a bad sculpt at all, it's got a nice shimmer. I like the idea that anytime I reach into my pocket for my keys, a decapitated Godzilla will bite my finger. Stickers until the end of time! Over 100 acid-free stickers and a 16-page sticker book, compliments of Mellow Smello! They basically took all the images and symbols from the Godzilla 1998 style guide and made them stickers. Nice stickers, though. The ones of Godzilla look pretty neat. I'm not a fan of all these other logos and symbols as much. There really are a lot of stickers in here, so the packaging didn't lie, like Dean Devlin did. Here's the sticker book itself, and it's just empty white pages. I don't know what I expected. City background? I don't know. And don't forget the Godzilla lip balm for your chapped lips or your chapped ass. I don't think I've ever finished the lip balm without losing it. Luckily, Godzilla's here to guard it for me. Next to the lip balm, Godzilla's looking tiny. This video will go on forever if I don't stop it right here. But yeah, that's just a fraction of the merch and knickknacks that was out there for Godzilla 1998. And for a while, it was really nice to go out and see Godzilla everywhere, even if it was the wrong Godzilla. A whole video about a Koosh Godzilla toy. Here we go. This is a Koosh ball. This ball of rubber strands creating a burst effect. This ball was patented in 1987 and available 2 years later, and is still available today. Now manufactured by Hasbro. I remember the Koosh ball from the 1990s. Look at this commercial. It's multiple actors famous for different shows, all excited about their new Kooshlings with arms and legs and a face. Because balls of rubber strands need lore too. A whole video about a Koosh Godzilla toy, a collectible characters Koosh Godzilla toy to be exact. There seem to be a lot of collectible characters similar to those Kooshlings. I do a quick Google and I see Star Wars Koosh, Looney Tunes Koosh, and Disney Koosh. There's a whole lot of Koosh to go around. And if there's a thing that's popular in the late 1990s, you know the TriStar Godzilla is gonna get involved. He can't help himself. He looks like a Chia Pet Godzilla. He looks like Godzilla disguising himself as a bush to sneak up on the Roadrunner. He looks like the CGI Godzilla got rendered wrong in the middle. What do you even do with a koosh ball? I don't know. It's not like it can bounce or roll. I know a normal koosh is fun to throw around, but you don't want to throw this koosh. Someone might get hurt. Like a lot of toys with the Godzilla license, the sculpt is fine. You got 2 arms, 2 legs. There's a novella under his tail. You can see the tail does a J shape. Something really disturbs me with how these 3 dorsal plates are sticking out. I don't know, it's cringing me out. I don't like it. If you just turned 138 years old, I'm afraid I have some very bad news. $5.99 for a ball that does nothing. I sound like my dad right now. The way the tag is attached is very annoying. It's actually tied on by a lot of rubber strands. So I cut the tag off and I'm left with this thick loop, which I guess you could use to tie this to stuff, or you could just cut it like me because I wanted the extra long strands to do this. Boingy, 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 can't catch me, I'm American Godzilla, cheeseburgers, cheeseburgers. Yeah, you don't want to throw these can't be for throwing. When I take a look at my childhood crush multiverse, I get no further insight into what I'm supposed to do with these koosh things. Look, they all just kind of hold their koosh toys up. Are these for display only? I guess she sends this one down a skate ramp. A whole video about a koosh Godzilla toy. Why? Is it to prove a petty point that dumb videos I fart out perform better than the videos I spend months working on? Did koosh pay me to do this video? Or is it that I'm currently moving and most of my collection is packed, but I wanted to do a playtime video and the Godzilla koosh bowl is the only thing out right now? I came in like a wrecking ball. Quick, tell me 3 things you know about the giant monster Godzilla. He wrecks cities, sure. He fights other monsters, all that's 2. He loves soccer? If you look back at Godzilla's history, there is a surprising amount of soccer. And I guess it makes sense. After all, soccer is like the 3rd most popular sport in Japan. Still though, I've found that there's no denying it. The Big G loves soccer. He loves it, even when he downright sucks at it. Oh, come on. Which brings me to today's toy, Nekketsu G League, a 1994 tabletop soccer game featuring Godzilla and other giant monsters. What? Who made this game? Sega! That's right. The same year I was playing Sonic and Knuckles, Sega released a Godzilla tabletop soccer game in Japan. Regular old tabletop soccer was a game that was available both in America and Japan in the 1990s, but the one with Godzilla and his friends was only available in Japan. Let's check it out. The box depicts clip-outs of all the kaiju in the game, mixing Showa and Heisei images. Godzilla merch often does stuff like this, but this game's got some really good cartoon art too. I wish this was the main art on the front of the box. Inside are 2 teams of 6 monsters. They're about the same size as those small kaiju finger puppets that are very popular to collect. You've got Godzilla, Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Gigan, and a Mothra larva, who will act as the goalie. These little figures are really cool and one of the highlights of the set for me. Each one has a completely unique silhouette. I like these molds a lot. They definitely lean into the cute factor. Even more so than a lot of the finger puppets do. The paint on these is really nice. The box calls these guys the G League Normal Team. Imagine that as a sports team name. Here come the Miami Normals. The other team is all the same monsters and the same molds, but they're gold. Yeah, all the monsters have been touched by King Midas. So this is the G League Gold Team. Now I get it. By having the exact same monsters, no team can claim any type of advantage, and both players get their favorite characters. But I don't know if this was the perfect solution. I mean, the King Ghidorahs on both teams are gold. They're exactly the same, and it does get a little confusing. Well, here's the green field they'll be playing on with the white lines, and that art I love is on the sides here. You get 2 soccer nets that you could put down. And it's neat little apparatus that works as the scoreboard, with wheels on the back that you can turn to change the player's scores. Now I have 2 balls here.
Yeah, I do!
I'm sorry. They're not perfectly round. They look like soccer balls you'd see on the Flintstones. You stick the monsters on these pegs, and it's pretty easy. And then you could twist these knobs, which makes the characters spin. This way they could swat at the ball with their tails. And of course you can pull the knobs in and out to move the characters around the field. One side of the board has red knobs and the other side is the yellow ones, I'm presuming for the gold team. And these handles off to the sides over here that only spin are for the goalies. And yeah, the ball goes on the field and you could use the levers to control your team, and you try to score on the other team. It's not perfect. Oftentimes it feels more like you're grazing the ball than giving it a good hit. I think the ball should have been maybe like 5% bigger. And a lot of it is chaos. This isn't the kind of thing where you're gonna complete a pass and then make an intentional score. Most scoring will be by accident. And you'll probably score on yourself too. But all this aside, I mean, look at this. The novelty alone is an absolute blast.
Pass it to me, you guys! You guys? I'm open! Over here! You guys! Hello? You guys, you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys!
What? A Godzilla made out of solid gold? Whoa, that's... Hey! Bring that ball back over here! I was distracted! Nope! This ball belongs to Gold Rodan now! Goal! I wish I could swap these players using my finger puppets, but of course these finger puppets have open bottoms. You could place them, sure, and boy, it does look good. And you could move them around, I guess. They're just not gonna spin. Which is kind of important. Still, it would just be neat if you could swap out other monsters. And I'd be able to recreate that Banpresto video game Battle Soccer that had Godzilla against other famous properties. Because I could use my Ultra Heroes here. I can even use my Ultra Monsters. Again, not really something you can play with, but it looks good. And that is Netketsu G-League Soccer. Pretty straightforward and a real fun part of the old collection. It actually reminds me a lot of the Ninja Turtles subterranean sewer hockey set I had as a kid. It's the same idea. What do you think of this Godzilla soccer toy, or Godzilla's love of soccer in general? Tell me in the comments. Based on all the stuff I've collected, I'd say Godzilla's other favorite sport is baseball, which actually is the most popular sport in Japan. But that's a conversation for another video. Oh, hey, it's MIB here. You probably don't need me to tell you this, but it's hard to be MIB in the summertime. If I could do the whole branding thing over again, I might have gone with a Hawaiian shirt instead of this thick-ass hoodie. But thanks to my favorite fictional character, it's Godzilla, I'm talking about Godzilla, there are some great ways to keep cool during the summer and have some good old-fashioned summer fun. Did you know Godzilla was my favorite fictional character? Godzilla fan. Keep cool anywhere with the portable Godzilla fan. Yes, that's right. Once he breathed atomic breath, now he breathes refreshing cool air. This came out in 2021 and features a mean-looking cute Godzilla. He looks a lot like the specific chibi Godzilla art that's currently all over merch in both Japan and America. The Godzilla fans got this blue strap so I could wear this big-ass Godzilla like bling. And by hitting this little button here, the fan spins. Ooh. This is so much better. Oh god, more. Oh. It's not too loud, and the blades are safe, so you can't accidentally cut your ice cube tray. A cheaper way to stay cool is a nice cold beverage with some ice cubes. Godzilla ice cubes. This is the Beatland Godzilla ice tray. Those are ice cubes? Why are they yellow and pink? They look like pencil erasers. What's wrong with this guy's water? This Godzilla's licking one like a lollipop, while this Godzilla looks like he's saying, "You know that's not the color of water, right?" What's hilarious is there's a disclaimer on the box that actually says the ice on the package photo was made for photography purposes and is not actual ice. Really? This isn't actual ice, you don't say. You can get creative, of course, using food colorings or orange juice or whatever, but I really don't think it'd be easy to get one tray to have multiple colors like this. Given how these trays work, it's probably easier to do all water, all green coloring, and so on. Well, it's fun and functional, so let's make some Godzilla ice cubes. Guess they're not gonna be cubes though, you get the idea. You fill the bottom tray, then you use the top tray to squeeze out some excess water. It's hard to avoid air bubbles still making it into some Godzilla. I'll be shocked if even one Godzilla is 100% complete. The box suggests putting it in a freezer with weight on it. Sure, have some popcorn chicken. Now, we fart. I think I screwed this up. Yeah, I put the top tray on backwards, so now each side of the ice cubes don't match. This one's got a Godzilla face on both sides. Oh, what have I done? Let's try this again. Alright, let's give this another go. We'll crack off the excess ice here. Man, opening this is the hardest part. This thing is frozen shut. Come on! Come on! Oh, this doesn't look good. There are some survivors in here. Look at this guy. A chibi Godzilla ice sculpture. He's got a hell of a seam, but besides that, he looks pretty nice. Good texture, nice profile, adorable design. My hands are freezing. This one appears to be doing Godzilla's victory dance. Not really a seam on this one, which is good. Here's another, same pose. And yet another, same pose again. You can make out the evil little smirk Godzilla's got going, like he knows full well I've lost all sensation in the tip of my fingers. And there you go, Godzilla ice cubes ready for your mojito. Hey, you know what you can drink your mojito out of? Godzilla tiki mugs. I don't have any Godzilla tiki mugs, but I know someone who does. Let's hear about them from my good friend Gojira Girl 13. Gojira Girl 13. Christine!
Aloha and welcome to Monster Island. As you're laying on the beach soaking up the sun, watching Godzilla and Ebra play in the ocean waves, you may be thinking to yourself, you know, I really wish that I had a cool kaiju tiki mug to be sipping some delicious cocktails out of. Well, you know what? Wait yourself no longer, because Mondo has got you covered. From 2020 to 2022, they released this amazing line of kaiju tiki mugs. So this is the very first release here. This is the Godzilla 1974, who, you know, after fighting Mechagodzilla, just retired himself to the ocean, threw a couple drinks back, you know, black hole aliens, all that stuff. He had to relax, just dress himself. It's a tough life being a kaiju. And up next we have one of my favorites and one of the biggest in the line, the Showa King Ghidorah. Now this guy comes to the table, he is ready to party. He holds 26 fluid ounces, wonderfully sculpted in this tiki style. So these are all made of ceramic and they're pretty heavy. They're about 1 pound each. We can't talk about tiki mugs and drinking without the king of the jungle juice himself. We're talking about Kong here. I mean, look at him. He is pumped. He is jammed. He's got the drums ready. I mean, he's just ready to go here. So this is the 2021 Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the Skull Island variant. It's like a brownish kind of color. And to go with it, we have the Heat Ray variant of the 2021 Godzilla. This is my personal favorite because I love me some blue, so I know I wasn't gonna turn this one down. And I mean, look at he's already got a happy look on his face. He's just having himself a good time already. Look at that smile. We also had a black colorway of the Kong, and of the Godzilla 2021. Now these are really cool. I mean, just to have in your collection, they look great on the show. So these were all designed by either Hector Arce or Mike Bonanno, and they were sculpted by Tufan Cesar. Guys, I know I butchered your names. I apologize. I love you. I love these. Hopefully you can still find these on the aftermarket, and I'm hoping that we'll see more of these releases in the future of new kaiju. So I'm gonna have myself a little drink, and cheers to the summer.
Yes, cheers to summer. And I know what everybody watching is thinking about now. You're thinking about feet, sandals. Head over to the Godzilla store for these beach sandals, why not? Again, featuring that modern chibi Godzilla art that's popping up everywhere. Sold out! Thankfully, we can head to fye.com for these Godzilla pool slides. It's not the chibi art, but it still looks good for your summer. This item is currently not available? What the fuck? Godzilla kites. I've had these Godzilla kites for a long time now, but it's finally time to give them a go. Gotta love this vintage art style. This one's got Rodan. Oh god, look at Manila's face. Look at it. Look at his face. Look at my face! Godzilla and King Ghidorah. These are incredibly simple kites. You just install one wooden rod here to hold it open and you're good to go. If you know kites, you know that this is the worst type of reel imaginable. But we'll make this work. You must be watching Godzilla vs. Ghidorah because today Godzilla's gonna fly. There's nothing as majestic as a delicate Godzilla kite dancing in the breeze, soaring high above the— No, not the tree! Well, luckily I've got the other kite. This one's got art of Godzilla and just 2 Ghidorah heads. And my god, I thought the last reel was the worst, but this is just cardboard. String on cardboard, Lord have mercy. Well, let's get this guy up in the air. Fly, you fool! At least there's no overwhelming Manila face on this one. You know, being out in the sun like this makes me crave my favorite summer fruit treat. Watermelon. If only there were a—
Godzilla watermelon.
In Japan, there's a watermelon branded as Godzilla's egg. It comes in a wooden box that resembles a cage, and this white box here too. This is a specialty oval watermelon that comes from Hokkaido, Japan. These Godzilla eggs are big, hence the name, but they are not cheap. In USD, they sell from anywhere from $100 to $150 each. For that price, there'd better be a real baby Godzilla in here. Now let's get dinner ready. Barbecue aprons. Does anything say summer like an old-fashioned BBQ? Well, when you're mastering the grill, fashion is key. That's why I have what turned out to be a pretty extensive collection of grilling aprons. Don't hug me now! This is the Gigan apron, which dropped in the Godzilla store last year, complete with Gigan hook mitts that sorta look like lobster claws. The buzzsaw is a nice touch, but it prevents the apron from having a pocket. Looking like Gigan is cool, but Papa needs his pocket. So I'm gonna take this off before Zone Fighter comes over and kills me. I've accumulated quite a collection of Godzilla aprons representing the Heisei era, starting here at Godzilla vs. Mothra, a 40th anniversary seal for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, and Godzilla vs. Destroyer! And you'll see, these are all in the cartoon style that have appeared throughout the 1990s, like on this Konica calendar, or on toy cards, or hey, on this banner right here in front of me as I edit. The exception, of course, is the Destroyer, who's in Godzilla style. There's even a Mothra apron, and this one might be my favorite. I won it on Buy.jp for $1. $1! And look at me now. Irresistible. So I tried to keep things in this video officially licensed, but if you wanted to go the bootleg route, there's no shortage of unofficial Godzilla beach towels and Hawaiian shirts and all sorts of stuff like that. And admittedly, some of them are pretty cool. If I missed a Godzilla summer toy, let me know, because there's always next year. I'm surprised I didn't find a Godzilla 1998 pool float or pool noodle or pool anything, given that Godzilla's on everything. Happy summer. Stay cool, G-fans. So currently in Japan, there's a promotion for what's called the SJHU, or the Shin Japan Heroes universe. This is a very, very loosely connected group of films, all based on huge properties in Japan. All 4 projects are reboots from the mind of Hideaki Anno, all with the name Shin in the title. The word Shin signifies newness or true, amongst other things. 2016 saw the release of Anno's Shin Godzilla. In 2021, Anno released Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, 32%. Thrice upon a time, but this literal translation is Shin Evangelion Theatrical Edition. 2022 saw the release of Shin Ultraman, written by Anno, and in 2023, Shin Kamen Rider was released, written and directed by Anno. And this is your Shin universe, which has been promoted a number of different ways. And it's cool seeing these 4 characters together. I love a good crossover. And wait, what? What do they do? They don't do that! What is that? Yeah, this is the Shin Universe robot. Some kind of robo combination of the 4 characters. Because absolutely everything in Japan needs to combine to make a bigger thing. This was released as a toy by Bandai. You could put me in a room and give me all the cocaine in the world, and I still wouldn't dream this thing up. How does this even work? Was Godzilla a robot this whole time? This is Titan Tech levels of body horror. It just doesn't make sense! This is a new release in Japan, and it's available in the States either through Big Bad Toy Store, or you can use sites like Buyee to snag one. But it's not cheap. They had the nerve to show us this, and then follow it up with, oh yeah, that's gonna be over $300. Who do they think would actually pay that much for such an insane concept? Alright, so here's the SJHU Project Outer box. And inside we got our nicer Shin Robot packaging. Let's just take this off here, and there's your box art. It's a regular old product shot of the toy. And we can get a glimpse of the characters individually on the side. But the good stuff is on the back. Shin Robot, you didn't have to go so hard. This art is awesome. I really like it a lot. But it's what's on the inside that counts, and for $344, this had better be some Soul of Chogokin level mastery. I'm talking die-cast premium quality. Oh no. Well, here's Kamen Rider, just this little guy on a bike. He's not removable. This is the Kamen Rider figure. The wheels spin, and you can make him do little tricks. And he comes with a very little plastic piece that helps him stand up. Here's Shin Godzilla. Oh man, this is just plastic, man. This is a Playmates toy, and not even Playmates at their best. I do like the dorsal plate paint application. The shiny crimson looks good. I'll give it that. And you stick his tail on, and boom, Playmates Shin Godzilla. He starts looking a little rougher on a closer inspection. From the front, he's looking more like Slim Godzilla. His legs can move, and you can actually make him have a seat. Hey Ryder, did you hear? We got someone to actually pay full price! His jaw opens and closes, his arms can move a little, his legs articulate, his ankles can turn, this can... Oh. Alright, I'm guessing that's part of the transformation. And this too. Either that or this is Shin Godzilla's 5th form. EVA 01's looking a bit stiff here. At ease, soldier. Shin Ultraman's the same story. But what might surprise you is that these 2 figures actually have some pretty decent movement. And we'll get to that in a second. Right now, I just want to show you them all together. I do like how the scaling at least evokes accuracy. Alright, so here's Ultraman, and his arms and legs can spread out, and you can make him look like he's doing the robot. Technically speaking, we have shoulder, elbow, wrist, leg, knee, and ankle articulation. The head can turn too. It's a lot. But even with all this movement, I can't say this measures up to something like an SH Figure Arts or even Mezco Ultraman figure. You can swap his hands. He's got alternate hands. You can make him do a little chop chop. And there's a Spacium Ray accessory with a little stand that he can go pew. And again, Eva's the same story. Same articulation. You can swap the open hands. Here's another little stand, and this one goes for this AT field that will become a shield. Like, are they okay figures on their own? Yeah, they're okay. Eva visually passes the test a little better, in my opinion. But there's just the dark cloud of the price hanging over this that I feel like I can't enjoy them for what they are. Whatever, let's just merge them all. Oh god, this is a lot of directions. This is not gonna be easy. Or fun. First you just start ripping Godzilla apart. You just yank parts off of him. Then his head moves down to his chest. And now he looks like he's plotting world domination. You move some parts here. You very slightly open these things. They don't come out a lot. Eva's tougher. First you've got to get these two shoulder parts off, and it is a pain. Every time I try, the whole arm pops off. I cruised through Godzilla, but I was stuck on this one for a little bit. Okay, I got him off. And what you do next is tear him in half. Don't worry, Darth Maul survived it. You open the back up and you pull out this tiny arm and hand, and now he looks like Gizmo Duck. Wonderful. And with the back open, you're then supposed to tuck both arms in there, and it has to be perfect or else you won't be able to close the back again. Which begs the question, why don't you just take the arms off? They pop off real easily. Whatever, I'll do it their way. Legs are easier, you just snap them together. You turn the feet back to expose a connector peg, turn it upside down, and that's the robot's leg. And guess what? Same story with Ultraman. You Darth Maul him, open his back, shove his arms and hands in there, flip the feet. Kamen Rider's transformation was really awkward for a toy that's so small. But look, it's the robot's face. And you get Godzilla's feet back because now they're getting new legs. And they pretty easily attach to create this Jim Henson nightmare. Snap the arms on. Again, easy, not hard. Then you gotta make the poor captured souls face forward. Look at them. Missing limbs and all stitched together like a horror film. There's a peg on top. I can already tell it needs to be longer than it is. And Kamen Rider goes there. Take this apart, slip Godzilla's head through it. This feels wrong. I don't know why, I feel like I'm gonna get demonetized for showing this for some reason. I don't know why, you just look at it. You take those dorsal plates from before and you stick the spacium beam to make a pretty cool sword, I have to admit. This piece goes on here like a shield, and the sword goes in this hand. Ultraman keeps popping open. I even removed the hands, and it's still an issue. Oh, and those Eva shoulder pieces need to go back on. Not easy. The discarded tail is used too, because we let nothing go to waste. This opens up to become a barbershop mustache! And you put it on the back to become, I don't know, the robot's wings? Immediate pain points. Ultraman still will not stay closed. I wound up removing the arms entirely, like I suggested earlier. That did the trick, and it was easier than shoving the arms in his back. I don't get why that's not the instruction. Pain point 2. The head is a mess. There's just so much going on over here, and I don't like that you can barely see the robot's face. And Kamen Rider easily pops off because the peg holding him on is too short. Pain point 3. These pieces will not stay out. Every time I fix something somewhere else on the toy, one of these goes back in. And sometimes I don't even notice for a while. I have no beef with the design itself. I mean, like I said, the head's kind of weird, and it does kind of look like Kamen Rider is just on the top controlling the entire robot by himself. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the case. But design-wise, I like it enough because it makes no sense. And you know me, something like this is amazing to me. It's so campy and schlocky, and you kind of love it again because it's just so out there. But at the end of the day, this feels like a toy that's $50 tops, and I'm being generous with that. Definitely not $100 value. Absolutely not over $300 value. I've just never seen such a mismatched price since I started this show. It is not worth that price at all. I wish I had my money back. I could have bought a lot of bootleg advent calendars with that money. So here's Shin Robot next to Playmate's Titan Techs, which have better form and function and cost hundreds of dollars less! Here's some other Godzillas for more scale, a Trendmasters, an Imperial, a New Empire Playmates, and a NECA. Oh my god, I try so hard to always look for the best in things, but this thing is so overpriced that I feel scammed. I had to keep checking to make sure Bandai really made this and it wasn't some type of bootleg operation. So I would recommend you not buy this toy, unless you see it for like hundreds of dollars less. And now's a good time to bring up my Patreon, where you could support this channel and access our Discord. Now would be a really, really good time to join my Patreon. I don't know. I mean, look, the gimmick is so out there that it definitely gets my attention. And it's just a shame that the gimmick and the quality itself just don't come near matching that price point. And it's not like I can play with it a lot. It doesn't balance. It's hard to stand. It falls apart too easily. Honestly, I'd really rather have a soft vinyl version of this robot. Anyway, there's not much more to say. I really don't feel like taking this thing apart again, and I probably won't for a long, long time. Color forms are toys made from colorful vinyl pieces that stick to a laminated board, which allows for repeated use. They were invented in 1951, and the first licensed colorform set was Popeye in 1957. In the decades since, hundreds of sets have been released. This includes this King Kong panorama playset that you simply must see because this is incredible. This was made in 1976 to tie into the King Kong remake, so check this out. It comes with a little booklet, and it's not really a story, it's just more kind of telling you about the colorforms themselves, with a special page to the parents. Look, Dad, these colorforms have a rare educational value. Your kid can't do this in public schools, okay? We're gonna teach them finger dexterity, a sense of spatial relationship, size matching. Alright, calm down, colorforms. You're reusable stickers. Just relax. There are 2 sheets of colorforms here, and back then, when they said colorforms, they really meant one color. Each picture is one color. I was really lucky to get this unused with all the colorforms still on their sheets. Check out the board. We have the gates to Skull Island, and then you can open them up to get this big, lush environment. There's a Skull Mountain, a raft, a bridge, the tree bridge. This is just beautiful. And this isn't even it. You get the giant gate, you get Skull Island, and when you flip this around, you get the top of the World Trade Center. It's time to reset the counter. What's interesting is how Kong's body is divided up into pieces, and this gives you the ability to do different poses, which is neat. So I could just grab various arms and legs, and now Kong looks like he's saying,
Hey, where did all the dinosaurs go? Why no dinosaurs in this movie?
He'll have to settle for this giant snake. We could stick some explorers to this raft, and uh-oh, Kong sees them.
You don't want to stay here, guys. We got rats this big.
There's a color form specifically to make Jeff Bridges hanging from something like this vine. Either that, or you're meant to be recreating the dream sequence from The Big Lebowski. Look out for the dreaded 2-headed Kong. Don't let him step on you, Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange in this movie. I get it, Kong. I understand what came over you. I guess these are pteranodons, but they kind of look like shurikens.
Yeah. Blah!
Forget him, Dwan. That big ape is stupid and ugly.
I can hear you, you know. I'm right here.
There's just so many things you could add to this. Tribe people, torches. You can create so many good pictures with this set. You can make Jeff Bridges jump from a fighter jet because this dude does not abide. The snake made it to New York City. And he's got Jessica Lange. She's so fucking beautiful. Look at this monstrosity I've created. This is a biblically accurate King Kong. Fast forward to 1998 with this Godzilla adventure set. Look how much smaller it is. For a movie whose slogan is size does matter, you sure came up short here, Tiny Tim. I got this new and shrink wrapped. Goodwill was selling it for 99 cents. Let's take a look inside and see if Godzilla can defeat Kong in the Colorforms War. So, the sheet here reveals soldiers, civilians, all sorts of things, but where's Godzilla? Well, he's in the background. You don't get to pose Godzilla, which blows harder than King Kong blowing on Jessica Lange. Oh my god. This image isn't even exclusive to this set. You can find this art all over the place. Boo! But at least I can make him breathe atomic breath, right? Like he kinda, sorta, maybe, but not really did in the movie? They couldn't flip the fire image the other way? Now he looks like he's sorta side-spitting it. All you could do is create this scene of devastation, and nothing scales together. It's kinda bizarre. Plus, I don't even have much land space. Godzilla's hogging up the whole picture. I guess I could stick some flying things around him. I don't know, I don't feel that same sense of creating a real scene like I did with the King Kong set. So I'm just gonna try to fit as many color forms into the picture as I can. This perspective is so wonky. I would have much rather the background be a city skyline and the color forms are buildings, some of them wrecked, Godzilla in different poses. If Godzilla's gonna be in this pose, they should have at least given me a color form of a big pile of fish for him to eat. This guy's blasting Godzilla in the face. In the face! He's the real hero. Ah! Friendly fire! Friendly fire! I'm just gonna make everyone shooting Godzilla until he explodes. Merch for Godzilla 1998 is usually so well thought out and premium. This feels so disappointing. How is Godzilla being upstaged by a King Kong colorform set that came out decades before it? I can make him shoot this beam out of his mouth and hit Mary Jane Watson over here. A triple shot! Now he's hitting them with a snot rocket. I'm gonna give him eye lasers too, I decided. Look at this absolute chaos. I remember growing up and I had some good colorform sets. I knew good colorform sets when I saw them. This is not one of them. I'm kind of amazed that in all these decades, this is the only Godzilla colorform set we got. But in this Godzilla vs. Kong battle, it's easy to declare King Kong the winner. You might have seen a YouTube video or two about Godzilla Lost Media, Godzilla and the Lost Continent, the Godzilla vs. Megalon bumpers with John Belushi, full episodes of Godzilla Kingdom. All the media we hope is out there somewhere, but it might be gone forever. But what about the other end of the spectrum? Media that's really well preserved. Media that's oddly well preserved. In 1977, Wonderland Records released a vinyl record called Godzilla King of the Monsters, produced by Cinema Sound. It had 2 original Godzilla audio stories, Godzilla vs. the Alien Invasion and Godzilla vs. Amphibion. Godzilla had a few of these stories on records in Japan, but this was an American release. And these 2 stories are better preserved than the moon landing. And I'll show you how, but let's start at the beginning with this 1977 record. I got this at a flea market for $9 and a friendly smile. This artwork might look familiar to you. This is Herb Trimpe's iconic cover for the first issue of the Marvel comic book series Godzilla King of the Monsters, which also debuted in 1977. The back is mostly about Wonderland Records, who were in New York City, and their other albums like The Bionic Woman, and I swear I thought that was Fritz the Cat at first. There's a blurb here saying Godzilla is as big as a 30-story building. Imagine Godzilla pitted against Amphibion. I like the quotes like, look at him fight Amphibion. Oh yeah, Amphibion. You know what I really mean. In a battle to the death in the mysterious Bermuda Triangle and saving the world from a dreaded alien invasion. What, at the same time? Is Godzilla doing both at the same time? How's he gonna do that? Both stories are between 13 and 14 minutes long. Let's check out Godzilla vs. Amphibion, because even though it's listed second on the art, Godzilla vs. Amphibion is side A of the album.
Godzilla, a prehistoric monster born in the modern world. Some say a friend, some say foe. And where will he surface next?
I love this Rod Serling intro announcer.
Our story begins in the fabled Bermuda Triangle.
I don't want to get caught in the Bermuda Triangle waters without daylight.
You don't believe those Bermuda Triangle legends, Captain?
That guy that sounds like Martin Sheen is Mr. Bishop. He's on a boat with a captain, and they're fishing in the Bermuda Triangle when they stumble across a battle between Godzilla and Amphibion. Amphibion has a back fin 100 feet high, claws like a lobster, and he's glowing like it's radioactive.
It's some kind of giant lizard or something, fighting a sea creature.
Maybe now you don't think those Bermuda Triangle stories are so funny.
These 2 guys saw a monster fight, and instead of reporting it, they've been drinking.
Here, Mr. Bishop, have another drink. You'll be okay.
You might assume this album was made for kids, but this ain't Saturday morning, Junior. This dialogue is prime time.
Have another drink, Mr. Bishop.
I don't want any more.
Both stories will wedge in some young characters, and honestly, it sounds like the young actors are reading the lines off the paper for the first time ever.
Dad, there's something coming out of the water near the boat. Dad, it's a giant fin.
There's something else in the water, son.
Easy, Pops! So this is Captain Rick Thompson and his son Tommy. They spot Amphibion while returning to an Air Force base, so they go visit their paleontologist buddy Captain Larry Jennings. Jennings refers to Godzilla as a 400-foot plesiosaur.
I thought the Japanese had killed him years ago.
Godzilla?
Godzilla was a long dormant plesiosaur, Tommy, awakened to the modern world by nuclear radiation.
They use the word plesiosaur a lot on this album.
Are you asking me to believe this story about sea creatures and giant lizards?
It's a plesiosaur, Commander Radley.
They went all in on the plesiosaur lore.
And the lizard was chasing the fin creature towards Miami Beach.
Godzilla is a plesiosaur, Commander.
Whatever, Jennings.
If you Google plesiosaur, the first hit is a Wikipedia page telling you that you misspelled plesiosaur. And just listen to this part, because it sounds like the album is about to cut to a commercial.
It appears Godzilla is still alive.
The next fight takes place around Miami Beach. What's cool about Amphibion is he has his own roar, and he sounds like Chewbacca. Amphibion is Chewbacca. Godzilla has his actual roar, which is a low bar for the album, but thank God. Godzilla kills Amphibion by twisting its neck until it breaks. The narrator doesn't describe the final monster fight. It's more just a lot of explosion sound effects you gotta sit there and listen to until someone finally shouts, "Yay, Godzilla won!"
Yay! Godzilla beat Amphibian! Godzilla won!
It's hinted that there might be other amphibians, but who's to say?
Where did it come from? I'm not completely sure, Wilson, but the amphibian seems to be a mutant form of an early prehistoric amphibious creature.
Well, are there any more like him, do you think?
Let's hope not, Captain Wilson.
I actually prefer the second story, Godzilla versus the alien invasion.
Our story, Godzilla versus the Alien Invasion, begins innocently enough on a timber barge in the northern part of Lake Michigan.
So the story also begins with two guys on a boat, one of which is a captain, talking and spotting monsters emerge from the water. This time it's Godzilla, and he's just passing through.
Some kind of huge lizard. I don't know. It's heading southwest, toward the Wisconsin shore. Must be 400 feet tall. Easy.
Obviously, these sailors don't know that Godzilla is friendly to mankind.
Obviously.
An alien spacecraft hovers ominously over Lake Michigan's western shore.
Oh yeah, so not to alarm you, but there are aliens in this story. They plant birth pods in Lake Michigan.
Our explorers say the Earthlings call this water body a lake. Lake Michigan. A typically strange Earth name. Yes, Commander Crouton.
Like Herb Trimpe, the voice actors in these stories aren't credited anywhere. I don't know who they are, but listen to this song in the background of this scene.
Oh, Billy, what a lovely sunrise coming up over the lake.
It is beautiful, Linda, but...
But what?
Look at the morning star in the western sky.
Is that a real song? Was it made just for this story?
A UFO!
We'll need a closer look than this to get convincing photographs, though.
That was the Newsboys with their new hit single front page story.
Godzilla vs. the Alien Invasion has its own soundtrack. Where are the clean versions of these songs? They're not bad. Two 200-foot sliding green creatures pop out of the lake, followed by Godzilla. So here's my artistic interpretation. The creatures have green arms and red eyeballs, and later they're described as overgrown string beans. It turns out the kids were sent by Dr. Scott. The story's protagonist team is this scientist Dr. Scott and the young boy and girl assistants, which is kind of similar to the lineup in the original Godzilla story on the Viewmaster reels, which also used Herb Trimpe's Marvel art.
We'd better alert the authorities. We don't want Godzilla attacked by people who don't understand him.
Dr. Scott tries to convince the army not to attack Godzilla, and just then 20 more string bean creatures appear. The army attacks them, and it's another round of explosions.
Godzilla's killing green things. Wow!
Look! The spacecraft are moving off! They're leaving!
Go back where you belong! Hooray for Godzilla! Hooray!
And just like that, Godzilla has repelled the string beans. And those are your two original Godzilla audio stories. Enjoyable. And if our journey ended here, would anyone really care? Well, in 1998, the album was re-released in a new format, cassette tape. This time it was released by Drive Entertainment in Los Angeles to capitalize off the massive hype for the 1998 TriStar Godzilla movie. But check this out. This side actually has some context about how this was originally released by Wonderland Records in 1977. And it even says it's not associated with the Sony film. Wait, the 1988 Sony film? Either that's a typo or this tape fell from an alternate universe. This is a cassette tape, kids. This format was big for a while. Once again, Side A is Godzilla vs. Amphibian, and Side B is Godzilla vs. the Aliens. Wait, they changed the name. It went from Godzilla vs. the Alien Invasion to Godzilla vs. the Aliens, because it's not a real Godzilla story unless it has multiple titles. Cassette tapes were plentiful in 1998, but compact discs were already on the rise, and it's amazing this didn't get a CD release along with the tape release. No, the CD came out 3 years later. The stories are now on a compact disc, and there's a Godzilla poster inside? Whatever can it be? It's a blown-up image of Trimpe's uncredited art. This was released again by Drive Entertainment. Look at this, they actually reused the original blurb from the back of the 1977 record here. They reverted the title back to Godzilla vs. the Alien Invasion. Now things are gonna get weird. Weirder. There are 2 stories we know very well, but this CD has additional tracks. Is it those songs we heard within the stories? The Newsboys with their new hit single front page story? It has 5 tracks. Track 1 is Godzilla vs. Amphibian. Okay.
Godzilla, a prehistoric monster born in the modern world.
Track 2 is
Godzilla, a prehistoric monster born in the modern world.
Do you know what this two-legged plesiosaur is?
You tell us, Doctor.
He's a friendly creature, really. He's just too big for the modern world.
Poor thing.
Oh no, some intern slipped his demo tracks on this CD before it went out to market. This track is over 8 minutes long. And you know what's crazy? This track actually charted in Iceland. No, it didn't, but you sorta believed it was possible. Track 2 and 3 have their names reversed. We just heard Godzilla vs. Gomi Monster Music Mix. The next track is Godzilla vs. the Alien Invasion, proper. And then Godzilla vs. Gomi Reprise? There's a reprise? And the reprise is another 7 minutes? He went all in on this music loop. And look, there's a bonus track. What do you think it sounds like? Half of this CD is Gomi's one music loop. That has nothing to do with anything! Also, is the Gomi in question this DJ Gomi? If so, okay, respect. His career is actually impressive. And I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong and it's actually Gamai or Gami or something different. Anyway, here's where the video should really end. But the journey keeps going! This album is available on music sites like Amazon Music, where you can download the stories as MP3s. I did, and they have the titles of the tracks backwards. Why is everything constantly mislabeled now? And over on Spotify, they've got the Gomi remixes, just not the bonus track. Also, both the CD and this list the artist as the Golden Orchestra, which is more of a branding thing that all these types of albums fall under. But let this soak in for a moment. Every major music consumption channel since 1977 had this album. That's 47 years of Godzilla vs. Amphibian and Godzilla vs. the Alien Invasion. 47 years! And you could hear it right now for a few clicks and a few bucks. Now that's preservation, baby! I wouldn't be surprised if NASA started broadcasting Godzilla vs. Amphibian out to neighboring galaxies. In the year 4000, this album will be all that's left of Godzilla's legacy! Did you grow up on these stories? Honestly, I'd love to do an audio stories series like this as a podcast. I think there's a lot of people who'd listen to a well-made audio story with giant monsters. But who needs new stories when we can have these two over and over for almost 50 years? When Godzilla debuted 70 years ago, he represented the living embodiment of nuclear holocaust. He terrorized the people of Japan and put them in a terrible and desperate situation. Men, women, children, nobody was safe from this massive, unimaginable horror. And I want you to keep that in the back of your mind for this whole video. Today we're gonna look at some weird Godzilla merchandise. The character's been around for 7 decades. You gotta figure there's some good stuff out there that's unusual or amusing. I've been looking forward to doing this video for years, so let's dive in. Tomy Stamps. Tomy has been making Godzilla stuff for a long time now. But this entry is about these Godzilla wooden stamps for kids. Here's the box they were sold in retail. And you can see there are 3 stamps for us to explore. We have Mothra flying over Godzilla, who's fanning himself on a hot day, while everyone's laughing at him. I believe it's supposed to be meant that Godzilla is cheering for you like he is a fan. And the stamp is another image of Godzilla fanning himself. Why is he so happy? This one's got King Ghidorah attacking Godzilla for wearing stupid sunglasses. What a scoop! I have a hard time making this stamp out, but it appears after you stamp it, you grab a pen and you can write a headline here for this Godzilla newspaper. Last we've got Godzilla doing his patented victory dance while Rodan smashes Tokyo Tower. His stamp is a little template where you can write your telephone number. Telephone me, $3 the first minute, 99 cents each additional minute. Lady Milk. Oh my. Over the years, a company in Japan called Takara has offered various small wind-up Godzilla toys, but for now, we're going to focus on these. This is the Lady Milk line, and it features 6 Godzillas in traditional lady garb. He's into it! There's a bunny waitress, like a Playboy bunny. Godzilla's a Playboy bunny. A cheerleader? This 1950s rock and roller? A bride? This is a marine look, and this is Ivy Girl. These ran for 800 yen each, about $5.30 American as I script this, and apparently there were variations too. The regular versions have the open eyes, but some are winking. Nothing in Godzilla collecting is straightforward. Everything has to be a rabbit hole, which in this case is fitting. Oh my god, the fishnet stockings! 2, 4, 6, 8. Lady Milk is kinda great. Godzilla vacuum. I've got a Godzilla-themed mini vacuum cleaner in this box. It leaves no trash behind, according to the word bubble coming out of Godzilla's nostril. This is gonna be a green Godzilla. Let's take a look at this. Yup, this is what a Godzilla mini vacuum cleaner looks like. It looks like an anteater. It's weird, but does it suck? I've given him some new batteries, and you flick this dorsal plate to turn it on. It works, which is great, but I don't know if this suction feels very powerful. We'll put it to a real test, and I'll have a snack break at the same time. Nom 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 nom! You know what? It's not bad. You really gotta shove his face on the floor, but it did do a good job cleaning the spot. Godzilla usually leaves a mess behind, but this Godzilla cleans the mess. To clean out the crumbs, you just pop his head open. That is the mini Godzilla vacuum cleaner. Moving on to Mechagodzilla chopstick holders. Mechagodzilla chopstick holders? Why Mechagodzilla? Are you trying to seduce me? Look at our boy laying out on my furniture like he owns the place. There's not a lot of details on these little ceramic Mechagodzillas. I've seen them listed in auctions as chopstick rests, and I've seen images of this Godzilla chopstick rest set from Takara, which appears to have this Mechagodzilla. What's weird, though, is that I never see the other monsters. I constantly see auctions and sales just selling a handful of the Mechagodzillas. Seriously, it's always, oops, all Mechagodzillas. Maybe they're bootlegs? It's not unheard of with the Takara Godzilla stuff. These days, you can get your favorite monsters as chopsticks with rests direct from the Godzilla store. What a time to be alive. Punching hand. This is a punching Godzilla hand, so you've probably already figured out what it's gonna do. Yeah, it springs out like that boxing glove trap in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And with each punch, you get a single Godzilla roar. This is dated as 1999, and it's definitely a fun novelty item. Punch all the Kongs! It's a punch-a-monkey mania! Punch myself. Apology keychains. So over the decades, Godzilla and his monster friends have done some severe damage to parts of Japan. Well, in 2016, around the debut of Shin Godzilla, the monsters finally showed some remorse by holding a press conference to apologize. These small Bandai keychains were gashapons available in Japan, and they featured Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, King Ghidorah, and Ghidorah the Smog Monster. Godzilla is bowing in an apologetic gesture for vandalism.
Mechagodzilla is apologizing for imitation since he pretended to be Godzilla in his first appearance. King Ghidorah is apologizing for his aggressive invasion. And then, the ultimate punchline. The smog monster is just unremorseful, not bowing, and saying it apologizes for nothing. It does not care. Each figure has a separate podium with these 4 little cubbies in the back, and they have these tiny microphones which look great, but they are tiny. I always have a fear I'm gonna lose one. The figures themselves look really good. They're highly detailed. The paint is good. I mean, look at this Mechagodzilla. This is way nicer looking than it needed to be. They never made more than these 4 monsters, and their secondhand market prices rocketed up almost the moment they became available, which is unfortunate, because these are great. I like that they don't look chibi or cutesy, like Bandai played this joke really straight. Gymnastics Godzilla. You squeeze the sides, and Godzilla does all these flips with these gymnastic rings. It's dated 1993. Look at this little Godzilla here. He's been practicing so hard for the Olympics. His mom puts a lot of pressure on him. Godzilla soda. Look at this box! I don't know what it does, but I feel like my life's about to change. This is a Godzilla that you attach soda cans to, and you pour the soda through his mouth while he roars to warn you about the sugar intake. Look at this. It looks great, but it's just so extra. I just want a Pepsi, man. Does Godzilla really need to get involved? It looks awesome, though. He's holding a cardboard placeholder that says Godzilla juice. And I've seen other collectors mistake this for actually being a can with a beverage in it. If only we could buy Godzilla juice. You can remove the actual battery box. I gave it a fresh bunch of batteries, so all we need now is a can of something. I've got Polar Seltzer, lemon flavor. When I put the can in, doesn't this look like Godzilla's gonna spray the seltzer like a water gun at you? Nah, he's here to just kind of puke the water into the glass while he's screaming. This is a cool item and a good sculpt. It is just so hilariously overboard. Russian dolls. More fun stuff with Tomy. This set of Godzilla Russian dolls starts with Godzilla here. Pop him open to reveal King Ghidorah. Next is Mechagodzilla, Kiryu form, a Mothra larvae, and this isn't even the smallest level because she pops open to reveal Manila. I'm a jelly bean! I'm a jelly bean! Yay! Here's everybody. I know some of you are very particular about your monster scaling, so maybe I should have included a trigger warning first. Godzilla meat! I don't own this last item, but it's too good not to share. Meat! Meat from your favorite kaiju! What you're seeing here is from Takara from 2001, and this is food. Food themed to be your favorite kaiju. I wish I could eat this so I could die as I lived, consuming too much Godzilla. The meat of Godzilla, Rodan, Anguirus, and Ghidorah is made from corned beef. But there's also Godzilla egg and Mothra egg you could buy, and they are really quail. What the fuck? Alright, there's a reason I'm doing this video about a Godzilla pop-up book. There's been a lot of official Godzilla book releases this year, an official coloring book, official cookbook, and then there's this official pop-up book. And this book's Amazon reviews are awful! There's only 5 reviews, but they're all bad! And I wanted to know why. So instead of actually taking the time to read the reviews, I just ordered the book! It's published by Insight Editions, distributed by Simon & Schuster. The book is written by Chip Carter and features art by Yuko Shimizu. If her art style looks familiar, it's because she provided art for the Criterion Godzilla DVD release. I really like this style, I'm glad to see it again. The pop-ups are by best-selling pop-up author Matthew Reinhardt. Reinhardt has a long history in making pop-up books for major IPs, and honestly, his work is so impressive. And if you look, almost everything else he's ever made has glowing reviews. As well they should, I mean, look at this. Very creative. So you would think that Godzilla is in good hands. Well, okay, here's the first issue. The Godzilla pop-up book list price is $50! And as I make this video, Amazon's already cut the price down to $40. That's what I paid. Stunning pop-ups and over 15 removable documents? Is this a pop-up book or a Trapper Keeper? So let's just open up this book and boom! A big-ass Godzilla appears. But first, over here is some text from some type of Godzilla task force specifically outlining Godzilla's Showa-era adventures. This is both extraordinarily impressive, but also
not really working. Like, I guess in some abstract way, it's kind of cool. I don't know, man. Maybe a full-body pop-up Godzilla was a little ambitious. But let's see what else we got. The next spread has a lot of stuff going on. Some of it's pretty neat, and this right here somehow already got creased. Urgh! This booklet serves as a summary of each Godzilla film from the perspective of this in-universe task force. This is dense. This is like a book unto itself. And it serves as a really neat— Wait, hold on! This says Destroy All Monsters took place in 1968. Everyone knows this film takes place in 1999. The narrator says it in like the first line of the movie. This is a neat effect. It's Godzilla, but you pull the tab and it's mostly Mechagodzilla. The effect mostly works. This little classified document is a rundown of the various alien races that have appeared in the Showa era. I would never expect it to have the Garuga, but that would have been super impressive. Because there's a lot of Showa era information in this book, but it's all surface level. You're not going to find any deep cuts or new unknown trivia in here. This envelope is sealed by a sticker, which is cool, but also I hate it. Luckily, you can open it without really ripping anything. And here is some more military reports, a rundown of Showa era technology and weaponry. Then there's this book that summarizes the film Destroy All Monsters, and it once again neglects to understand that Destroy All Monsters took place in the future. Unless it doesn't anymore. Since this book is official, did a pop-up book just retcon everything? And by the way, who am I to give anyone garbage about letting stupid mistakes slip through? Oh my god. Quick aside, the MIB plushie is available for pre-order just a little bit longer. Everybody who got one the first time absolutely loves them. They are really good quality. And if you post your MIB plushie on any social I'm on, I will 100% share it. The link to order yours is in the description. I really hope you grab one. Alright, back to the book. Now this I like, a burnt piece of newspaper. I wish the book had more stuff like this. And then there's an image of Godzilla that looks like this old kaiju anatomy picture, but without the anatomy. And then there's a letter from Dr. Serizawa to Amiko that's supposed to be written during the events of the first movie. Why did Dr. Serizawa write it in English? Does it feel like we haven't looked at a pop-up picture in a while? The next page has a very small pop-up effect with this map of Monster Island, and it's got all the residents there. It's good to see them all. It's a nice picture. I like this art a lot, and the shape is even consistent with traditional maps of the island. Around the map are these trading cards. The front of the cards have that cool art style I like. The back of the cards have even more writing, this time monster profiles. Wait, this says, after being killed by the oxygen destroyer, Godzilla somehow reemerged. This whole time we all thought the sequels were a different Godzilla from the first movie, but the official pop-up book has retconned this too. Look, the cards are very nice. Again, I like the art style. There's a ton of copy on the cards and in this book, and I have mad respect for everyone involved with this project and the work they put in. It's just that, if I buy a pop-up book, I'm in it for the pop-ups. Well, luckily the next spread is a pop-up, and wow! I said the first pop-up was ambitious, but this has a full-body Godzilla fighting a full-body King Ghidorah. There are even pull tabs when you can make the monsters move. And hidden in the corner over here, this little flat reveals Mothra, who doesn't always unfold properly on her own, but still, it's neat. And again, this is equal parts impressive and awkward, but I'm glad the pop-up art is starting again. What's on the next page? Oh, that's it. That's the end of the book. 2 pop-ups for $50. And that's what the reviews are mostly about. The price point is wild. And compared to Reinhardt's other works, these reviewers don't think that this is his best stuff. And I suppose that's fair. And I appreciate the attempt to make this very informational, but there are other official books for that. Again, if I'm buying a pop-up book, I want to see some pop-ups. You know what's funny is that this is not Godzilla's first pop-up book, it's not even his second. These pop-up books were released in Japan in 1994. They're more like the traditional idea of what a pop-up book is. This one is called The Legend of Godzilla, and it tells his origin. Look, a pop-up mushroom cloud. Thanks, Oppenheimer. And from here, it kind of runs through the first movie. And this is so basic compared to the intricate art of the other book, but it's still really neat. It's getting the job done, and there's more than 2 pop-ups. Why does he look like he has Seth Rogen's laugh? A pop-up of Godzilla dying. The other book is just titled Godzilla, and it's a retelling of Godzilla 1984. These books cost 1,534 yen, which in 1994 would have been worth about $15 in America. Adjusted for inflation today, we're talking about $33. Obviously, these books are made with more of a kid audience in mind, whereas Reinhardt's books focus more on the artistic integrity of the pop-up itself. So do I recommend the new 3D book? Only if you're cool with everything I told you in this video. For what it's worth, in this book, I do think you get a lot, just not a lot of pop-ups.
Combat Joe. Yeah, not G.I. Joe, Combat Joe. So don't be fooled. These are not government-issued Joes we're talking about today. Playtime! Yay! In 1971, Hasbro took their G.I. Joe soldier dolls and licensed them to Takara, a company in Japan. And Takara sold them as Combat Joe. He sounds like he's a character on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Hey, Combat Joe! But then Takara began releasing costumes you could put on your Combat Joe, and in the early 1980s, Takara released Combat Joe with a Godzilla costume. That'll really confuse the enemy. If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you may remember a few years ago when I reviewed Microman toys. They were little characters that wore Godzilla costumes. These Microman toys are distant cousins of Combat Joe. Long story short, Takara took their Combat Joe tooling to make the robot called Henshin Cyborg. But then to save cost on that tooling, they sized the cyborg down and it became Microman. It's all connected, and that's bad! Because if you recall, I hated the Microman toys. Combat Joe comes with the doll and the costume. It's the same idea as the Microman toys. Parts of the Godzilla come off so you can cram a human inside of them. And I could already see some elements that I don't like, but we'll get to that. Inside the box we've got a tail. Very hard plastic. Looks like some type of horn you could blow into. The Godzilla suit, much softer and rubberier. Some parts here including the dorsal plates. These are going to connect to the suit's back via some small pieces of Velcro. And look, not one, but 2 Godzilla heads. On the left, I believe that's a 1965 Godzilla, and on the right is the 1964 Godzilla head. And they both look fine, nice sculpts. Would have been nice to get some color inside the mouth, but that's fine. Godzilla has these 2 little hands with attachment pegs. They attach to Combat Joe's arms, which means that in order for Godzilla to have hands, Combat Joe needs to be inside of him. I hate that. Moving on, Combat Joe's bandana, which is usually missing in these vintage sets, glad I've got that one, and Combat Joe himself. War has changed him, and now he's half the man he once was. Combat Joe is held together by a single cord and a prayer. The cord runs through some of the legs, and you connect it to a single hook sticking out of Joe's bottom. Like so. Yeah. Dangly Joe's got a ton of articulation though. Head, shoulders, biceps? Elbows, wrists, waist, legs, knees, and feet. But he's not doing any of that for us right now. The Godzilla suit itself looks really good. It's certainly got a detailed texture, and you could believe this suit just came off a movie set. And you can see the back isn't just Velcro. There's also a zipper, so you can really trap Joe in there and recreate the man-in-suit horror stories. A big difference from the box art is that on this costume, the fingernails and toenails aren't white. They're the same color as everything else. And I really wish that wasn't the case. The tail goes right in there. The tail goes right in... Hold on. The tail goes right in there, and you could already see that this thing is going to stand on its own fine, even hollow. Now, let's choose our heads. We'll start with 64. It's not too hard to get on. And we almost have a complete Godzilla, if not for the fact that we can't use the hands. I've got your hands. Look at me. Wee. Oh no. Connecting the rope to fix Joe is a bit of a pain, but at least I can make him do a kick line? Look at me, I'm Godzilla now, Screog! Shoving this flaccid Joe into the Godzilla costume is a horror show. This is a common problem with the old G.I. Joe and Combat Joe dolls. Over the years, their cords just aren't nice and tight anymore.
The main image of this figure is recreating the look of a Godzilla suit actor, perhaps between takes. It works really well with this image, but in reality, the Godzilla suit just doesn't bend that far down. Or it does, but it can't remain. Also, this image has both Joe and Godzilla with hands on, which is impossible, because Godzilla needs Joe's arms to have hands. It's not too hard to get the arms in. Maybe it's a pain to get it all the way in, but it's not infuriating. But what does this get me in the end? Now I have a Joe with no arms hanging out of the back of a Godzilla. Behold Godzilla! The hands could go in more, the head could probably go on tighter, that's on me. And the back dorsal plate is having a hard time staying attached to some parts, but it's not bad. Can Joe go all the way in Godzilla? I think, but honestly, what's the point of that? Not to mention that right now, my Joe is just a jumbled mess of limbs and parts flopping around. Size comparisons, this guy's a smidge taller than the RC New Empire Godzilla, and about the same size as a large Imperial Godzilla. My bandana now. I don't hate this toy like I did Microman, but I'm really missing out on its full potential because my Joe is a floppy mess. He can't stand, he can't do anything. So we're gonna fix that. Marshall Made Collectibles sells these new cords just for these Joe dolls, and finding out about this was a godsend. He's also got a super easy video on how to install the new cord, so let's give it a go. Come here, Joe. God, he's a mess. We're gonna get Joe naked and then unscrew 3 screws to get into his top half. Then we're gonna feed the new cord through Joe's buttocks. The cords have hooks on the ends that connect them into the legs. And this is the most satisfying part. Oh, pull the cord and everything tightens. And then the cord is gonna go up and over this peg in the top half to stay nice and tight. And when I close it back up, wow. This seemed unimaginable when I started the video. Joe is standing on his own. All his parts are nice and pulled together. What an improvement. Thank God for Marshall Made Collectibles and his genius cord solution. Now I think we'll have a much easier time getting Joe in Godzilla. And that is so much better, and I found that I could kind of get Godzilla's hands to stay in if they're palm up like this. Now this is a good looking piece. I'm proud to own it. It's still not quite the effect you see on the box, but Joe feels nice and sturdy, and he's much easier to pose now. Combat Joe, in all his glory. Now here I have a Real Action Heroes Godzilla from Medicom. As a tribute, they did this. They've got a King Kong vs. Godzilla one. They've got a Gamera one. This one is the 1954 Godzilla suit, and don't quote me on this, I want to say this came out around 2006? Is it better? Is it worse? Let's pull them out and find out. This one shipped to me with Joe already fully inside Godzilla, and you can see that this time, there's a lot of foam protective padding inside for Joe. He's as comfy as can be in there. Probably roasting like a little piglet, though. Look at this tail. It's got bendy wire now, so your Godzilla has some tail pose ability. And it's got these 2 parts hanging out here, and they're gonna go in the legs later, but right now, kind of makes this look like a kid-friendly caterpillar mascot. Ooh! Oh, man! Here's new Joe, just look at him. Very similar articulation, handsome fella. Just a white shirt, blue shorts this time, no bandana. But his inner workings are different, no string this time. Instead, it's all these types of attachments here.
Once they were like brothers, until she came walking into their lives. Now who wants to watch me go down that pink twirly slide?
Oh, I do.
I'm rich! Hey Barbie, check out what I can do!
So, what do you think of the multiverse saga so far?
The what?
Anyway, let's look at the Godzilla costume here. This time the hands are attached, which is good. Now the mouth has movement that requires a little bit of work that I'm just not doing today. Technically, you're supposed to be handling this with Q-tips and Vaseline or detergent and all this other stuff to get Joe safely in and out and to get the jaw to move, and we're just gonna stick the tail in right here and call it a day. This Godzilla's back is open, much wider, but this time, thankfully, the Velcro goes all the way down. So I can get it shut well enough, although the dorsal plate is kind of sticking out a bunch. But now we have a decent Godzilla that can stand on its own, and he has hands. And I even like that they have the holes in the throat here. He's got really good teeth, still highly detailed. Nails are white this time. This one's only got the one head, and I think that's actually better when the head is permanently attached like this. Let's get Joe in here for the classic pose. Here are our two Joes in their Godzillas. In a way, these look like those inflatable costumes you could buy now. The Godzillas look like they're having an argument in Italian. I like these guys way more than the Microman toys. This pose here is meaningful. It's cool. I'm in it for this pose. I don't see a point in having to shove the entire Joe into the costume if the costume stands and functions fine basically without him. But having Joe stick out of the back is a neat effect. The original Joe's gonna spend some time on my display for a bit. Let me know what you think about Combat Joe in his Godzilla costume. Do you want to see more of these? Let me know. Let me know. Goodbye.